Janis Joplin's.
When you got a minute, just watch both parts of that fucking documentary about it.
The new studio. When I set up the new studio, I'm gonna set up all these.
Fucking Italians weren't allowed above 19th Street in Hoboken.
2, 1,
go
live. Holla,
holla, you dirty bitches!
What's
Merry
up?
Christmas,
Merry
my
Christmas, brother. How
Red
are you?
band. Oh shit,
Merry
Jamie.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
No, we're talking about
Merry Christmas, Jamie.
Italians weren't allowed above 12th Street because the Irish controlled the Italians in the 40s. That's how it was, the pecking order. And he was the first one to make it out, and it just cleared the Italian. You gotta watch this documentary.
It's on Sinatra?
It's on, yeah, it's Sinatra on HBO, All of Me or something like that. And it's weird because I always grew up hearing these fucked up stories about him, like that he was kind of a little rough. But, bro, he fucking loved people like us. Like, he lived for that craziness. He loved it. Burt Reynolds just put out a book. Have you been reading the excerpts that they've been releasing?
No, good.
And he went, and he goes, he bumped into Sinatra one night, and Sinatra told him to go play cards over at some bar, and they're playing cards, and the guy dropped the dishes, and the owner was yelling at him, and Sinatra called the owner over, and he goes, how much you think a glass is? He goes, I don't know, maybe 30 cents, and he goes, give him $3,000. Bring me $3,000 worth of glasses. And he called the busboy over there. He was yelling at him, he embarrassed, and he goes, what's your name? Hector. Hector, I want you to break every fucking glass. And he started breaking glasses. Nobody knew what was going on. And he goes, if I ever come in here and Hector's not here, I'm going to tell all my friends not to come in here and eat. And Burt Reynolds got up and he goes, where the fuck are you going? He goes, I already got my Sinatra story. He goes, sit the fuck down and play cards, will you?
I got my Sinatra story. Yeah. Yeah, he was supposed to be an incredible guy.
Like, in that sense. And then after, like, he got down, like, that documentary really breaks it down. Like, he went really down. Then he did a world tour out of his pocket. Were just for kids. He donated everything for kids. His daughter said he never recovered from Kennedy screwing him over. Like, he never recovered from that. You just got to catch it. It's pretty interesting, man. And he's from Hoboken, which really, when I heard that story about how the Italians weren't, you know, it was different. Like, the Muslims were all crying now. 100 years ago, those were the Italians. You know, 100 years ago, they were throwing fucking Chinese people over a cliff for the railroads with dynamite. Is that true? Did you ever hear about that shit? When they built the railroads?
The craziest statement / question.
The Chinese people were like, everybody suffered in this fucking country.
Yeah, well, they definitely,
you know?
the Chinese people who built the
railroads. Like,
yeah,
they would like
essentially
fucking play the 21st finger is it. And whoever was it strapped dynamite around them. They threw them over the fucking. I swear to God, man, somebody will fucking say this shit to you. Like, all these races suffered, you know.
Yeah,
but they've been walking on the railroad.
Yeah, like all fuck. That's why when you go to Wyoming, there's a Chinese restaurant. I didn't know that shit. You ever go to Wyoming? You're like, why is there a Chinese fucking restaurant in Cheyenne, Wyoming? And they're like, oh, because after they built the railroads, they said, fuck it, let's just stay here.
Wow, that's interesting. I never really thought about that. But wasn't there a place we went to? Was it Vancouver that we went to? We went to some museum that showed like how all the Chinese immigrants wound up in Vancouver. I don't think it was the railroad, or I forget what it was. But it's interesting when you have like these pockets. Like, there's pockets of like certain parts of Chinatown where those people just never assimilated. Like, fuck it, we just stay right here. Everything's in Chinese. The signs are all in Chinese. We're good. They don't learn English. They just stopped. They decided, we'll just make this China West right here, just for a couple blocks.
Yeah, wasn't there like some mayor or something, or there was some kind of guy that was from China that came over there that invited like everybody over there?
Everybody where?
Into Vancouver.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder.
I forget. There was like some story about that.
Yeah, I wish I paid attention.
Yeah.
First off, the oldest Chinatown was in Cuba, up to like 61 or 58. One of the biggest Chinatowns outside of China was in Havana, Cuba. And in fact, after Fidel took over, he never fucked with them. He left those Chinese people alone.
So there's still a lot of Chinese people in
Cuba? Cuban, they speak Spanish. They speak Cuban.
Whoa.
And if you go to 79th Street and Broadway, by our friends, where a friend's office used to be, right there, there's a place called La Caridad. It's a Cuban-Chinese plate. I sent Ari there. You get pork fried rice with a pork chop and black beans. It's fucking ridiculous.
What?
And it's Chinese people speaking Spanish.
What does it sound like?
Número 4 con frijoles negros. And they talk Chinese style, but Spanish.
Let me hear what that sounds like. What does it sound like?
Like really fast. Like, let's say I say, dame una orden número 4 de frijoles negros y arroz chino.
That's how you would say
That's
it?
how I'd say it.
Right.
They'd say, dame una orden de arroz chino con habichuela. And they talk really fast.
Wow.
To see a Chinese person speak Spanish will blow your fucking mind. Will blow your mind. So if you ever have I even sent Opie there. Opie ended up going there. So I was on Opie and Anthony talking about how that's a weird restaurant. If you go in there high, be prepared to go into shock.
Wow.
And when I was younger, there were more. They were like Campana China, that's the Chinese bell. There was a couple more, like in where I came from, in West New York, there, Jersey.
That's fucking crazy. That's like a thing. Like if you see a Chinese guy with an English accent, you go, "Whoa, hey, what's going on here?" You know, like it doesn't assimilate. But that might be the biggest one.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah, a Chinese person with a Cuban accent speaking Spanish.
And
Faster
super
than
fast.
shit.
Fast as
Why
shit.
is it so fast? They just always like they're like that.
They take that
ahead of
Chinese.
us.
Well, they have a
tone,
very
the rhythm
fast way of talking.
Yeah,
you know?
Multitask.
the rhythm of
Yeah.
the Chinese tone, like da-da-da-dang, but they put it into the Spanish.
How crazy is it that there's so many different sounds that people make just to talk? Like you hear those African people that talking like clicks and they start like what? Like they just developed. That's their style. They figured out their style of making noise, and that each noise means a certain thing. And Cubans figured out this kind of like flowing, almost dancing style. And Germans have this fucking hard, you know, everything's fuck, you know. And then the Chinese people, they figured out their own thing. It's all totally different. All of them different.
And the Japanese have the grunts.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah, they have their own thing.
I like when I hear Portuguese. This is what blows my mind when I watch a fight and they're talking to the interpreter. When I watch Portuguese, I understand a few words just from being Spanish. I don't understand all of them. I'm not gonna lie to you. But then it's weird. Like then you have all these countries together. But like when Sicilians talk around me, I know exactly what they're saying. They can't pull the wool over my
Right, right.
That island is half fucking Spanish. They don't even know it. When Sicilians talk, I pick more words up. You know what I'm saying? So when Portuguese say a 5-word sentence, I pick up one word and then I'll take it from there, my imagination. But when Sicilians talk, I could take 4 out of the 5 words. Like I understand it's closer to Spanish. So somewhere along the line, I always figured out we were connected somewhere. There's some French words that I understand as Spanish. Like
Wow.
it's kind of weird. Like it's just, I don't know if I could explain it the right
Well,
way.
there's like the Romance languages, right? Like Latin, like Spanish is, French is, right? Those are like what they call the Romance languages, like old school European languages that have that sort of flair to them. There's like a beauty to a lot of those older languages. You know, it's interesting just how different parts of the country develop different sounds for talking. You know, when you listen to people from like the South Pacific or another weird one is Filipinos. When you hear Filipinos, you're like, wow, that's like kind of a combination of stuff. Like theirs is like a combination of sort of like an Asian but a Spanish. There's like a flow to it. It's a weird thing, right? And a lot of Filipinos have like traditionally Spanish last names as well.
Well, they were conquered by the Spanish, right?
Yeah,
The
it was like
Spaniards or something
Spanish and
like that.
Chinese, right?
Chinese.
It's a combination of Spanish and Chinese.
And they're all Catholic.
Yeah, that's true.
Big time
Yep,
Catholic
big time
community
Catholic.
Filipinos.
Yeah, like Manny Pacquiao. Super fucking religious guy.
Big time Catholic community.
Yeah.
I read something recently about how emojis are is the most advanced language that's been created recently, just because you can pretty much cross. You know, I could talk to a Japanese person by emoji to some point. And, you know, and if you think about it, that's how cavemen started. So they might have been way more advanced in their language, and we have been just shitting on them the whole time. You know?
What's pig Latin?
Well, cavemen didn't really do it in pictures. I mean, they made pictures on the wall, but we don't think that they were communicating. But they do think that hieroglyphics were like a super advanced way of communicating. We don't quite get it, you know.
There's no poop emoji type thing for that. It's more advanced, like triangles and eyeballs and stuff, right? Is that what the language looks like?
Yeah, it's all different symbols. You know, it's different things. I don't totally understand it, but there's a lot of Egyptian language was lost. A lot of their writing was lost in something called the Fire of Alexandria. Like when they burned Alexandria, I guess they burnt like a lot of like really cool shit. They destroyed all the records. Like there might have been like explanations for how they built all that shit. All of it got destroyed because it was all on like I guess a paper or papyrus, which I don't think is really a paper. I think it's like an animal skin thing, like paper made with animal skins. But yeah, those fucking people, man, they drew on their walls. They had like their history of like their creation and all this different shit. And it was all just written in all these different images. You know, they just wrote in images. Like, we think that you have to write in letters because that's how we write. We write in letters. But if we never wrote in letters, we only wrote in images, I mean, we would just develop a really advanced system for communicating in images. You know, like when you look at someone's writing and you don't understand it, if you look at Portuguese or something like that, you don't understand what it means. You kind of just look at all how the little letters and everything are all smushed in together to try to make a strange sound. You know, it doesn't click and register. But then when you read something that you absolutely know what it is, like the thought and the idea immediately enters into your head. Well, it would be way more universal if it was like images. So it does make sense. Yeah,
like, I mean, if you think about it, like, look at the old Egyptian, you know, King Tut with, like, the hand going up and one going down. And then you look at, like, our emoji system where we have, like, that one, like, Hey Felicia chick with their hand to the sideways. We know exactly what that means when a girl sends it. It's like, hey, whatever.
Right.
But if you see the Egyptian, that's kind of like the same exact shit.
Well, I don't know what the fuck did that mean. Why did the Egyptians hold their hand that weird way?
Was it just the Walk the Egyptian music video that I'm thinking of? Maybe they never did that.
No, they did. They did in hieroglyphs. They did. Right?
That was Pig Latin. Break that down to me.
It's like you say nay at the end of everything. And you take the first letter away, and then you wouldn't say Diaz. You would say Iaz Day. Right? Isn't that how you do it? Iaz nay.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
Ixnay on the X-Fay.
Right,
you know,
I've heard that.
Okay.
You know, I don't even know how to say it.
There's a Spanish one when you're Cuban and they have a Pig Latin, and my mom used to talk to me in Spanish as form of communication when there was other people in the room. If she didn't want people to know what she was saying to me, it was like she ta, she thought, same fucking thing.
Wow.
You have to do something. I forgot what, I fucking forgot what the fuck it was.
Cuban is a very interesting Spanish because it's almost like drums are playing. You know, when two Cuban people start going back and forth, it's like it's got a rhythmic quality to it.
It's loud.
Yeah.
It's loud. And two Cuban people, the conversation gets louder and louder and louder, and you actually think there's an argument going on, but there's really not. There's not even at all. It's just two people who are so passionate about the subject they're talking about, i.e. baseball.
Yeah.
You know, when you get them going, don't start that fucking argument.
Well, what was the documentary that I saw where they went to Cuba and they were watching these guys pay to argue? They would pay to discuss, like, sports. Like, they'd pay to argue. They would go to this one area and they would get together with other guys who want to argue about sports. And they'd actually they had like a ticket. And they would go in there and argue about like soccer, or baseball.
If you really know baseball, like their arguments are beautiful arguments. That thing I used to do years ago where I'd yell and then walk away.
Right.
That's Cuban. That means the conversation's over. Whatever you got to say, I don't need to hear because you're wrong. That's what that means. That's that body that they argue all day about dumb shit, music, baseball. It's interesting to them, but they detail it so much that they suck you in with the conversation,
Like that fucking Yoel Romero dude, who more embodies Cuba and Cuban athletics than that guy. Him, he's when I think of the Cuban athletes, like Cuban super athletes, you think Yoel Romero, right?
Well, the thing the most thing that he has about being a Cuban is that he's 38, and you don't really know.
Oh, you can't tell.
Nobody knows at all if he's 38. He could be 22, Doug. He could be sucking you in, and nobody really knows. We really haven't. Those birth certificates, they went away. You just pick an age. What do you want to be? 38. None.
Well, he competed as a wrestler for a long time, so they know he's at least a certain age.
No, I'm just teasing, but
I know what you're saying.
There's always something with the Cuban. I remember my mom died. I told my aunt, she goes, "How old was your mom?" 48. Fuck, she's been 48 for 10 fucking years. Because it's true. You don't know, dog. You never know these motherfuckers' ages. They won't tell you. That last fight, he fought fucking great, man. But
did you see the one before that where he told people to not? He was trying to say, "Don't forget Jesus."
Right.
But they didn't get it because he's got a thick Cuban accent, the thickest. So he goes, "Don't forget Jesus. Don't forget Jesus." So people thought he was saying no for gay Jesus.
Okay.
Like there's no gay Jesus. Like Jesus isn't gay.
It could have been way worse though.
But
Like,
all
Jesus.
he was saying was forget.
Don't forget Jesus.
He was saying don't forget Jesus. He was just saying, you know, I won. Don't forget Jesus.
You know why I didn't go to the weigh-in?
Why?
You know why I didn't go to that weigh-in?
Why'd you not go that way?
Because I would have gone off on him, that he would have beat up Jacare,
Right.
Luke, and Aldo and everybody in that ring that night. I know how to motivate Cubans.
Yeah.
Oh, with religion. They're radicals.
That's what you would do. You would just start talking about God.
I'm just talking about Ogun, the metal god of Cuba. And he looks.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
There's a god in
Hold
Santeria.
on.
There's a god Ogun, and he's the one he's the metal worker. He's the fucking built. When you go on YouTube, look for Ogun. He's always a big yoked black guy that lives in the jungle, and he only comes out when there's a problem. So if I would have seen Yoel Romero that day, I would have said, "Hijo Goon," and I would have got his blood going.
Oh my God!
I would have got his blood going and shit. Dog, I started doing that to Anderson Silva when I first met him, and I remember one day in the hallway he couldn't take his eyes off me. People were talking to him, they kept looking back. What that motherfucker saying? Because it's big in Brazilian. That shit is big in Brazilian. So I would have started saying, "Oye, tú eres hijo Goon. Oye, Ogi." And then I would have started saying who my mother is.
Whoa.
Yo soy hijo la santísima caridad del cobre. Y te estoy diciendo que le tiene que meter leña. Yo te estoy diciendo que le tiene que meter
Jesus.
galletazo hasta por gusto. They would have gone. Look at Ogun.
That's the dude?
That's Yoel Romero. Look at him. That's
It
Ogun.
does look like him.
That's all black, muscular Cuban dudes that look like that. You fire them up, tell them they're Ogun's son, and they go
Sounds
fucking
racist
nuts.
somehow.
That's Ogun's son and shit. I'll get you
Wow.
fucking fired up with all
How
those
come I
images.
never heard this before?
Because this is huge in Cuba.
Who's this guy?
This guy right here.
That's
Ogun.
Ogun. See, he's
So there's like a series of black porn films with these guys shirtless, six pack, covered in oil.
This is the god.
Jesus Christ!
This is the
Cum sword.
god of the jungle, and he is in charge of machinery. When machinery goes bad and shit like that, you have to pray to him. He has all the weapons of metal. He just shows up with metal and starts. He has a metal axe, a metal fucking everything.
That's
and,
hilarious.
And that's why I would have busted him with that. I would have gotten to his head with Ogun, and that takes over Jesus in Cuba. That's what you were brought up on. You heard that growing up. So even if you converted to Christianity later on, that'll still get under your fucking skin. Like, I'd still rattle your cage and shit. Bro, if I would have started saying that shit to him, he would have thrown everybody out of the ring. John McCarthy. It would have been that episode of Curly and the Little Rascals when they fought, not Little Rascals, Three Stooges. They wanted Curly to wrestle for a benefit. But the problem was whenever Curly smelled wild hyacinth, he went fucking nuts. So he's on the bottom of the pile, the guy's beating him, and all of a sudden Mo comes over and makes him sniff the fucking thing. Curly pushes him off him.
What is it called? Wild hyacinth?
Wild hyacinth, like
what is it?
Like some fucking
Like a
like
smelling
an
salt
herb or
type of
something.
thing?
You know, this is like in the 40s or whatever
Right.
where it was made. And all of a sudden you flash back and you just see Curly hitting everybody. People are coming up, and then he gets a hold of the bell. And he starts clocking people with the bell from the wild hyacinths, and they flip over to Curly, hitting people with the bell, and all of a sudden they flip over to the middle of the ring, and they're all piled on top of each other, dog. He knocked out 18 people with that fucking bell. That's what I would have done to Joe Romero that day. He would have gone into the audience, banged your head with fucking big, what's his name? Goldberg.
I felt bad when that whole forget Jesus thing went down. It was so bad. Everybody was piling on him. They all just assumed. It was really bad because you gotta know that Cuban accent. The T's become Y's. It's just that's how they do it. And in a thick accent like that, like nobody figured it out. It was weird. It was weird to watch. They were all like, he's making a statement against gay people. And like, oh man.
I thought when I heard it, I was like, this mother, because half of Cuba is pro-gay.
Right.
And the other fucking half of Cuba, they'll take you shark hunting.
But didn't you understand what he was saying, seeing as you speak Spanish with a Cuban accent?
No.
You didn't get it. Wow.
I didn't, I'm half deaf, so I really didn't hear
Oh, okay.
what the fuck he was saying. And
That's why you're always screaming.
yeah, that's why I'm always.
Yeah, I kind of heard about it after they had already figured out what it was. So I didn't. But when I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying, don't forget Jesus. He's fucking Cuban. It's like, don't forget Jesus. Don't forget. No forget. And, that's him saying, "Don't forget Jesus."
He fucking loves you.
I think I've beaten it into the ground. I love him.
I could tell the way he says your name. Joe Rogan. Dude,
it's an honor.
Oh my God, he loves you. I could tell how he's excited. You know, the thing that they should do that the UFC always misses is just tape. The best corners in the business are George A. Masvidal and Yoel Romero. And I hear it very, because the things they say are ridiculous.
What are they saying?
They're ridiculous.
They're saying it in Spanish?
Yeah.
Cuban Spanish?
One
what are they
time
saying?
I was hearing Georgie Masvidal's trainer saying,
Masvidal.
Métele un galletazo. You know what a galletazo is? An open-handed bitch slap. You can't do that. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, métele un galletazo.
So he's saying, he must have hurt his hand.
That's Cubanismo shit.
Okay.
Un galletazo.
Right.
You can't smack somebody, but in our mind, métele un galletazo fires you up. Métele un galletazo.
Oh, I get it.
Listen to it. Remember, a bitch slap is a bitch slap. In Cuban, it's un manatazo, un avión. Oh, man, he was saying, métele un avión. You know what an avión is?
What?
An airplane. That means hit him with one of these things that come across the head like a fucking wild punch. Eso fue un avión. So he talked to a Cuban. One time they were interviewing Stevenson in like the 70s, and they go, so Stevenson, what happened? What? And the guy's like, you know, trying to, and Stevenson said it, and I almost died as a little kid. No pasó nada, metí un avión. I hit him with a plane. That's what they're called in Spanish. Metí un avión, compadre. Metí un avión.
What a great language.
No. And it has so many different meanings. And the truth of the matter is, it's such a funny language because they say shit. Like one time, one of the nicest things you ever said to me is you were stuck in an airport, and all of a sudden you heard this party going on at 7 in the morning. People were delayed, and you looked over and they were Cubans. And they were like, I got you that day. That's when I really got you. I got you. It ain't you. It's your culture. Like they're a little, you know.
Well, I remember that day very well. These people were having fun, man. They were speaking Spanish with clearly Cuban accents. They were dancing. They were like, have the little girl was dancing with the father was dancing. They were playing music out of their phone. I was like, look at these fucking people. They don't give a fuck. They're just here having a good time. They're just here having a good time. It's beautiful. So, you know, the one thing that I don't know too much about politics, and I don't know too much about like the embargo and how it all went down. I know very little of it, honestly. But what I do know is something strange about a culture like Cuba that's kind of existed outside of the influence of the United States, purely. You know, I mean, obviously we're only 90 miles away, but since there was an embargo and there's all this bullshit that was going on back and forth between the two countries, they kind of existed in their own space. And when you see it, like in video, and you see like the cars, all 1950s cars done up beautifully, and people are driving them around. They put like diesel engines in some of them and shit. They're all like self-sustaining. And you look at these people and you see the flowing style of their language and how they live, and it's all right there. It's fucking 90 miles from Miami. It's nothing. You know, if you could drive there in a car, it would take you an hour and a half. It's closer than San Diego. And it's a totally different world. Totally different world that essentially existed with very little U.S. influence, other than the fact that we're close by and, you know, they have to deal with us. But other than that, I mean, they're doing their own thing down there. And the athletes, Jesus fucking Christ, how many countries that are that small produce the kind of athletes that Cuba has? Just think about how many baseball players have defected and become like major league baseball players. How many boxers have defected and become world champions. Like there's a lot of like super high level boxers that come over there from there. Judo guys like Hector Lombard. You know, I mean, that caliber of athlete, like Jesus Christ. A lot of them come from Cuba. Look at Hector Lombard and Yoel Romero. Both what you would call what the fuck athletes. You know, you look at both of them, you go, what the fuck?
And I'm thinking, what did they lift in Cuba that got them that big? They eat 2 eggs a fucking year in Cuba. What protein source? They got no juice in Cuba. How do you get that fucking big? And I've seen, listen, when I went home, I went with my wife and the baby to New York. And one day I said, listen, before we go into the city and shit, let me take you to my neighborhood. I took him to the actual park I used to play in, where I used to see some crazy shit. And I sat across the street from Carmine Balzano's house, the guy that shot the guy 7 times in self-defense and all that shit and got away with it, and they took away his pension. And I'm just staring at the house, and I'm like, I remember being out here when the FBI had that house surrounded, and they fucking found Patty Hearst's machine gun in that house. That's how deep Carmine was, dog, and he was a cop. That's how deep this guy was in my hometown. And I'm going through the, when we were kids, we had to do the attic, and we were finding money in the attic, dog. Hundreds and 20s and 50s. Whoever had the house before that had so much money, they were using it as insulation.
What?
Like, this is crazy. I'm thinking about all these things, but while all this is going on, it's me, my wife, and the baby, and a guy and his little girl. And my daughter's kind of mingling with the little girl, and it's a beautiful day in Jersey. There's leaves out and everything. And all of a sudden, the guy's getting ready to leave, and I just said, "Hey, man, how are you?" And I went to say, "Do you live around here?" Just to see if that's kids come to the park. I go, "You live around here, man?" And he goes, "Perdóname." And I go, "You live around here?" And he goes, "Me no." And I go, "Tú eres cubano?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "How long you been here?" 8 days. Him and his daughter had been here 8 days. They had gotten here like the day after Thanksgiving. So right away, they offered me a Cuban cigarette, which I smoked. I smoked a communist cigarette with the guy, just talking to him, just to feel where he was coming from.
Right.
And he was telling me how you're basically poor unless you have to defect into professionalism. There's a word that you defect in the country, and now you work for yourself. So this guy was 48, and he was a bicycle guy that 2 people sit in the back and drive you around town. So what he was making in 1 day, he was making in a month. That's why they let him defect so quickly. They let him out of the country, because you have to claim that first, that you don't want to be a professional. He was telling me all this shit. I'll tell you, man, I had tears in my eyes when he was telling me I asked him what a daily menu was. Like, he said he came here and saw an Italian sandwich. He goes, "Coño, soy italiano, son de pinga." That Italian sandwich, coño, I slept for 15 hours. He goes, that was tremendous. They'd never seen it. How can a man be 48 years old and never see an Italian sandwich? Are you fucking kidding me? I went home.
So what kind of menu did he say he had?
In Cuba, I think you get a dozen eggs per month.
That's it?
For a family of 5.
Wow.
You know, the coffee, you get like 1 pouch a month, and you have to re-keep. I bought him a cup of coffee. He's like, I tasted the coffee for the first time in my life. You have to keep running the filter through that coffee until there's really nothing left. And then they do things to bring that coffee back. You spray Windex in it or something. He was telling me something fucking ridiculous that you sit there and go, unbelievable what they do for coffee and the liberties we have, you know? Unfucking believable.
Well, a lot of it was because the U.S. stopped doing trade with them, right? I mean, that was a big part of it. That was
here's the clinker,
after
guys.
the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah, they got nothing. You know, I've heard from people that they went to Cuba and they seen Washington apples at the hotels. You know, like the hotels were getting taken care of for tourism. But everybody else lives like savages. But here's where the conversation gets best. The guy's been here 8 days. He already had a fucking job. In Sea Caucus. I go, "How's your English?" He goes, "It's coming along, but I work with a bunch of Polacks, and they don't speak English, so we're kind of confused, but we make it work." Oh, my God. He was fucking hilarious. And Joe Rogan, you know me, dog. I turned around, I went in my pocket, and I had $200 bills and a 20. And I said, "Do me a favor. I got a sister in Cuba. It would mean the world to me if you took these 2 yardsticks." And he goes, "I can't do it." He wouldn't take my money, dog. I go, "I got a sister in Cuba. You just got here." I go, "Buy your daughter something nice out of respect, you know?
Right.
I don't know who you are." He wouldn't take my $2.
Wow.
I sat there and I go, wow, that's pride.
Yeah.
That's pride. He wouldn't take my money, dog.
Yeah.
You know, people ask you for money all the time. This guy really fucking needs it. He wouldn't take it. He still had Cuban cigarettes. He had not smoking. And that's why I said to him, I go buy yourself a fucking carton of real fucking cigarettes.
How did he get in?
His daughter. His daughter defected with the mother when she was 3. And, you know, they leave, and he stayed and started another family.
Wow.
Like, that's it. Can you imagine one day, like, that's it, Mrs. Rogan, I got to go back and take care, and I'll get you back guys in 3 years.
Well, a lot of boxers, that happened to, what is that trainer? Diaz, the guy who works with Pedro Diaz.
Yeah,
he works with Vitor, works with a lot of those other guys. He left family back home. They did one of the boxing pieces, the in-depth boxing pieces on him. You know, he just realized that he just to fulfill his dream of being a professional boxing trainer, he's got to escape. That's got to be so hard, man, to leave your loved ones behind just because you know, Like your life is fucked here. Like, wonder if they're going to be able to get back now. Like, what? How does that happen now? If we opened up trade
once
with Cuba,
he gets, so they did the first flight of LAX. You guys saw that, and they gave away little chocolate cigars. Like, it's a fucking party for these people.
so are we like freely allowed to go to Cuba now?
Done. That's it.
Wow.
You go with the missus.
Let's go.
Right from LAX.
Wow.
Right from
Is it
fucking
dangerous?
American Airlines. No. Listen, this is 9 out of 10 people will tell you this. 9 out of 10 people go, listen, bro, the poverty breaks your heart. The food kind of sucks. But the people, shit, that's a different level of heart. You sit there and go, wow, these people have nothing. Why do they act this way? If I had what these people had, I would not be a nice person at all. They say those people, some Eric Myers, some comic from the store pulled me aside 3 weeks ago and he goes, hey, man, I want to give you a present. I don't even know the comic. I see him up there a lot. I'm saying Eric Myers. And he goes, I went to Cuba and somebody robbed my thing on the plane and a Cuban family took me in for 4 days and fed me. Wow. He goes, they had like 2 pork chops. He was telling me, he goes, I never felt that way. He goes, they're fucking beautiful people. Everything sucks, but the people take it to the next level.
Isn't that crazy though? Because that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants a community filled with really nice people like that. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants people to look out for each other, warm, friendly, funny people, right?
That's it.
So I mean, I don't want to say this because I don't believe it, but does communism work? Does it make better people? I mean, if you're in this small environment like that and you're forced to work together because the United States cuts your country off. And so, I mean, I don't know who they do trade with mostly, but that had to hurt them financially. That had to hurt their quality of life in a big way, right? But
I don't even think they know what communism is. Like the conversations I've had face to face with my cousins at where we go for pastrami sandwiches, and we went to a Cuban place while they were in L.A. Communism didn't come up one time. I don't have the heart to bring it up or what it's like. I don't want to know.
But they know that other people can do whatever they want and work anywhere they want.
When I went to, what's the place we go to? What's the fucking place we go to for pastrami when we were at the store? Cantor's.
Cantor's.
We went to Cantor's and they started singing Stairway to Heaven. I almost fucking died. And how they had to sneak the album around. Like they still had albums. We're talking about CDs here. Yeah. They had vinyl, you know? And they were like, you have no idea. Like, if you get caught with that vinyl, you go to jail. Wow. Go to jail for vinyl. You go to jail here for having a pound of coke. You know what I'm saying? A fucking album. That's you go to jail, they write you up. You got to fucking go through some process. You might lose your job, you know. And they were singing Stairway to Heaven. And the way they sang it and fucking we hear it is 2 different worlds, man. It was like, they sang it with heart. Like, this was big to them. You know, you don't know the overwhelming feeling when you come to America. People don't know the first time you learn a sentence to a fucking song. You know how big that is? The first time you learn how to say cool. 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 Oh, cool. And then they'll still fuck it up. Coño, que cool. Coño, que cool. You know? Cool. You have no idea what it means to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, to really absorb this, to be a fucking American is huge to an outsider. We take this for granted every fucking day. I see these jerk-offs walking around. They have no fucking idea. They have no idea until you talk to somebody Cuban or you talk to somebody from a country that they've been kind of fucked up. You know, hey, listen, man, when I lived in Boulder, I got nothing to hide. One of my best friends was a bad-ass Muslim dude, and he wasn't radical. The reason why I'm here is because he taught me how to fucking read and write. He helped me with my GED. His name was Muhammad Zabib. I'll never forget that motherfucker. And I cracked jokes on all that shit, but that was my boy when I lived in Boulder. He used to bring me hash. I used to make him smoke reefer. He taught me how to smoke a fucking cigarette with tobacco. You know, the Egyptians, whatever those people, they fucking get the fucking tobacco with the weed and the hash. I almost had a heart attack, though. And he's over there blasting this fucking thing like, you know. It's, and I used to talk to him, like, how is it? And he would tell me, look at these fucking unappreciative Americans. He would say it to me all the fucking time. How he came here, he was 9, and the first time he sang a Beatles song, he almost fucking died. Like, to sing a whole Beatles song, you know, like Let It Be or something like that. That was fucking amazing to him, to learn another language. It was so overwhelming, you know, to come from some place where you hear gunfire every night. Can you imagine living in Israel and hearing machine gun every night? That's how you fucking go to bed. And all of a sudden you come here and you move to Studio City, and you're gluten-free and shit.
I had a friend of mine named Shuki. He was from Israel. He was a kickboxing trainer, Majiro Gym. And he had a place in Tarzana for a while. And that's where I met him. And he's an Israeli dude. And him and his family, his wife was Israeli, his kids. And I had dinner over his house once after we worked out, and they brought out bongo drums, dude. And they start playing bongo drums. He's playing bongo drums, and his wife starts dancing, and his kid gets up and starts dancing. And I was like, wow, like they're not even drunk, dude. There's not even any alcohol. We're drinking water. And they just start dancing, like playing the drums and dancing. And I go, you guys are so happy. Like, you're so, he goes, you know why? He goes, in Israel, I'm doing a terrible accent. In Israel, every day, like, could be death. Every day, could be more war. Every day. So when it's not, it's party, party, party. And, it's just, and that's what he's doing. They're, like, eating this cool, they had, like, Israeli food. You know, I don't want to fuck up the names of the food, because this was quite a few years ago. But they were eating, like, the traditional Israeli food and playing the bongo drums, and the lady was dancing, the little kid, he has a little son, his son was dancing. I was like, wow. Like, I felt privileged that they had showed me that. You know, like, I don't know anybody like you. Like, here I'm hanging out with you. Like, this is their regular night for them. They do this shit all the time. They come home, he comes home from training people, he busts out the bongo drums, the wife starts dancing, they start having a little party. Like, that's just, they're free, they're like loose. And the way he described it, he was like, in Israel, it's just so dangerous. You know, especially this is like early 2000s, you know. It's always dangerous over there, though. There's always something going on. They're always involved in conflict. Mandatory, military is mandatory. You have to join the military for a certain amount of years. Everybody's military. Everybody's trained. So it's a whole country of like, and there's like a deep camaraderie because there's not that many of them, and they're a small country surrounded by a lot of Arab countries. And then you add on top of that the fucking partying.
Have you ever been at the store when Israeli Death Squad fans come over? You've seen them? Have you seen them at the store?
Yes.
They are. Remember the people you called me and said they were waiting for you? I got stuck at that fucking dumb movie premiere. Remember? Those are Israelis.
Yeah.
When Israelis come to the store, you better be prepared. They fucking come heavy duty to the store. I've been up there a couple Tuesdays, and 3 of them have stuck up on me. We're from Israel. Where's the flying Jew? We want to party. Where's the stars of death? They're fucking nuts. And you gotta love them. You gotta love them. And they were comics. From listening to Rogan Experience, they started doing comedy. I guess Israel's got a big comedy scene there now.
It's just starting now.
It's just starting, and they fucking want to be rough comics. So the one kid's like, I'm trying to do fucking Hitler jokes, and they're throwing me out of all these places. I'm fucking howling. I'm howling. People are like, what is he talking about? He's like, I'm doing fucking these dirty Hitler jokes, and the Israeli people throwing me out of restaurants and shit. So he goes, I'm coming to America to do Hitler jokes. Nothing but heart. Nothing but heart, these motherfuckers. I'm sitting there going, oh no. Where's the flying Jew? We want to meet him.
I'm coming to America to do Hitler jokes.
Oh my God, he was pissed, this kid. He was serious. He's like, dog, my comedy's a little rough, man. He goes, I'm up there doing fucking Nazi jokes and shit. They throw me out of the comedy venues.
I actually had him on the Ice House Chronicles.
Did you? You had
yeah,
that crazy
I was like, dude, you're
motherfucker.
only in town once, so
I'm telling you. Yeah, crazy.
What's his name?
What was his name? Nice kid.
Nice
and
guy.
There was 2 guys.
Nice
There was 2 guys.
Johnny Nice Guy.
And then they came. Then
Well, let's find his name out.
Then
Find
a
his
couple
name if you
weeks
can.
ago,
Do you have it on your phone?
a couple
Maybe.
came. An Israeli couple came. They had just gotten married on their honeymoon. They came to the comedy store. That was their honeymoon. And they were nuts, bro. They had the bucket with the booze. They were yelling. They came out, took pictures, hugs, yelling, we love it. Yeah, though, this kid was really... Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you. That night I left, I was like, this is real. We're getting motherfuckers from Israel to come over here to meet Death Squad and do comedy.
And he was really funny.
And he was really funny. Joe,
Did he do stand-up? Did he do
yeah, he
the
did
show?
on Kill. He did Kill Tony. That's how I met him. And then I invited him to the Ice House because, like, if somebody does really good on Kill Tony, I'll invite him on to the Friday show.
Right.
And so he was great, and he did
great,
the podcast and everything.
What's his name?
I'm looking at trying to find it. It was a while.
He
That's
went back
awesome.
to Israel, and he's coming back.
Yeah.
Because he sent me an email. I had a blast.
That's awesome. You know, we were getting a lot of Australian people showing up at the store.
Yeah.
Australian people at the store and at the Ice House, too. And they go on, like, these comedy tourist vacations. Like Australia, they get like a month off of work. Like they don't like we get, if you're lucky, if you have a really good company, you get 2 weeks off, right? And they usually encourage you to not take both those weeks, right? They'll incentivize you, right? Isn't that how it works normally? But in Australia, I think they get a whole month off. So I think these motherfuckers just go on vacation. They just go chill places.
You know, Joe Rogan, you get into comedy, Jamie, you know, whatever, you do well in whatever market you start in, you come to LA or New York and you succeed, and they value, you know, the whatever success you think it is, getting on a TV show or movies, or just becoming a really funny comic and working. I never dreamed of what's going on now. Every time I wake up and my feet hit the floor, I thank God for what's going on now. I don't want to do movies. I don't want to do TV. I just want this movement to keep growing. This is not what I intended. This is all new to me, man. This is all new to me. And nobody asked for this. Most comics ask for success, to be rich and famous. The success we're getting is something different, man. We're fucking reaching the globe. You know, in his fucking heyday, and I'm not saying that, you know, yeah, Howard was big here. These little podcasts are reaching the fucking globe, Joe Rogan.
Was that his name?
I think so.
You know, when I'm at the store and somebody comes up to me from from Sweden or Finland or wherever they're from, that's not California, and they're like, we came out to the store to see you, and they're doing these comedy fucking vacations. This is, and you get in your car.
Can you pronounce that?
And you drive home, and you don't even know where this is coming from. Last night, some girl came from like fucking Hong Kong and gave me a present up at the fucking Hong Kong Gardens in Ventura last night. She was here for Christmas. She was like, listen to you in Hong fucking Kong.
Wow.
You never dreamt of that.
No.
And that's a way different type of success, man.
Well, there's definitely something happening because of these podcasts where you're getting this connection with people. Like I did shows in Australia, and they might as well have been in Irvine. You know, just a bunch of cool people. They just had different accents. What's his name? Tal Mordehai? What is it?
Tal Mordehai Jr.
Tal Mordehai.
TALNAVEJR on Twitter.
All right. I'll check that dude out. But yeah, we never thought this. I mean, Brian, this is like, we're almost at our 6th anniversary, right?
I know.
This is our 6th
It
anniversary.
was
like right around
Christmas
now.
Eve, actually. Wasn't it? Or is it New Year's Eve?
Somewhere around now. Somewhere in this area. I want to say it was the 29th.
No, I remember it was Christmas Eve because it was weird doing it on Christmas Eve. I'm pretty sure it was.
It was totally this month.
Yeah.
Whenever it was definitely this month. 6 years ago.
That's
Just
nuts.
fucking around on Ustream. Just answering questions, you know?
The pre-HIV days.
Bored.
It's just I had a good time last night, and it's weird. I do that Hong Kong Gardens. I'll tell you why I like this place. I like the comedy scene.
Like a Ventura comedy scene.
I like the Ventura comedy scene because it reminds me of. They have a porn comic. They have black comics.
What's that mean?
They
Porn
got Mexican.
comic?
She's a chick that does porn as a comedian. I was thinking of doing
hilarious.
that. Is having 2 people fucking behind me and me doing like 3 minutes.
It's a good move.
And fucking. I was just thinking about doing this.
What
You know
kind
how
of people?
Seinfeld does comedy and cars, coffee with cars. I don't want to see
Right.
nobody drinking coffee. What if I did stand-up and behind me there's a bed and there's a chick getting plowed for 3 minutes and I just do a bit and then we fucking end the bit. That's it.
Yeah, if you could get them in the right position where your head covers all the naughty parts.
What do you think?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like you can see like the top of his ass, like as he peaks, like right above the back of your head, and that's it. It's just the top of his ass is all
But
we
isn't
get to see.
YouTube like Sons of Anarchy? You can see that guy fucking a chick. They
Yeah.
don't show his dick or his pussy. It's like late night
Right.
cable. It's
Right.
not HBO. Can't you show like a guy's muffler while you're doing stand-up with a suit and a tuxedo on?
I don't
YouTube.
think you can show buttholes on, but you can show a butt. Like as long as you don't see the actual hole, you could show a naked butt.
On
you show a
YouTube.
yeah, definitely, naked man or woman's butt. But you
don't think
can't
so.
You can't show the hole. Yeah, you can. You can
during
show,
sex, I mean,
maybe.
if they were just sitting there with a butt in the air, maybe. But if
Well, I
it's
think
fucking,
with YouTube, all it takes is a few people complaining,
Yeah.
and you get taken down. Like you can get taken down for offensive shit, or they make it. You click on that thing that says you're over 18. You know, they could set it up like that.
except that I saw somebody, I think Christina Pajitsky, post a natural childbirth video the other day that was on YouTube, and that was one of the most graphical, disgusting things.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's
beautiful,
nature.
beautiful.
Oh,
nature.
Jesus. but that scene up there, it's just a bunch of young guys at the club broke their balls, and now they have open mic 7 nights a week. So if the club owner wouldn't have broken their balls,
Right.
these kids wouldn't have done that. You know, you have always been one of those guys that a lot of clubs in the beginning, you know, you were too dirty for a lot of clubs. That's why you worked at Dick Doherty fucking rooms, because,
Yeah.
But it's so weird. So when you represent that, I'm one of those guys. I didn't, you know, I had a fucking, Seattle Underground was the one where I nurtured with Ron Reed in those days, because that was a club that, and they accepted crazy people. But I could, yeah, all of us, we were all up there.
You know the difference? When you're young and you suck, which is I definitely did, and you're not dirty, at least you're not hurting anybody's feelings. You're not offensive. But if you're young and you suck and you're dirty, you're disgusting. Like, you're going to just say the most disgusting. You're not going to know where the line is, so you're going to fuck up.
Yeah, but the first 18 months of my comedy career, I was clean. Until I saw Lenny Clark's video, and then I started going off a little bit more.
Really? 18 months?
Yeah, because everybody put this fear of God
Right,
into me.
right.
So I used to wear like a nerdy suit and go up there and tell fucking jokes about whatever.
Well, I've always said that you were the guy that surprised me the most with how you figured comedy out. Like, almost, you hit this point. Like, when I first met you and you were first doing the store, you would be the funniest guy in the world in that parking lot. Like, we would all hang out in the parking lot, and you would just be killing everybody in the parking lot. But then you would get on stage and you would stiffen up. Like, you didn't have the same relaxed way that you had.
I couldn't convert what I was doing outside the stage to the stage.
Yeah.
It's funny how I had this conversation yesterday with a guy named Charlie Barnett.
Yeah.
That when I watched Charlie Barnett, I really, really got it, because he was the first guy. You know how people say, well, he's a one-trick pony. Okay, but at least he brings himself to. Charlie Barnett was a stand-up comic at Washington Square Park with Dave Chappelle as his fucking apprentice.
Right.
As his fucking apprentice.
Yeah.
And then he did DC Cab, and then he did a couple serious seasons of Miami Vice, so he beat up Don Johnson, because he was just crazy, the Noog Man, whatever his name was. But he transformed who he was on the stage and in person to the screen, which is, I always looked at, that's really fucking hard. And that's what I always wanted to do, not in the screen, but just the stage, how to get Joey Diaz on the stage. I didn't really want people to see the real Joey Diaz. I always was ashamed of Joey Diaz, so I didn't people really want to see Joey Diaz, so I worked clean. But then I watched that Dice thing again and Lenny Clark, because I got on stage because of Dice. But people were like, oh, you don't want to be dirty because people won't give you work. So I actually fell for that shit.
We all did.
And then I wore the suit like Lenny Clark, but I couldn't sell a joke in the suit even if I fucking wanted to. I couldn't sell it in a suit. And that's where eventually I lost the suit. You know, you just have to lose things, and you're just learning through a process, you know. And at the store, you know where I got it? In the belly room one night. That's where it came to me. Wheels was doing a show on a Thursday night at 11. There was like 13 people up there, and I was bombing anyway. And I remember I turned to my side, and for some reason I took myself back to a corner. I watched that movie with Al Pacino and about football, and he has a great speech for Jamie Foxx one time. He brings him to the side and he goes, listen, man, we got 2 minutes on the clock. We're going back to when you were a kid. Your mom just called you in for dinner. You got one play left. Remember, you used to run to the car and make a left, do the same fucking thing. And he scored a touchdown. And sometimes we forget about that. So what I did was I twisted my body around, and I put myself on the corner of 78 and Kennedy Boulevard, where I used to make fun of this guy with the limp, look at that janitor with the one eye, and that's when it started. I stopped looking at them, and I remembered who I was. I was letting them judge me with their eyes. And I turned that, and I'll never forget that. I remember going home and going, I'm onto something. And then little by little, I started being me more up on stage.
It was real quick.
And I stopped listening. The problem is we listen. Well, they won't do this unless you're clean. Oh, if you go for a showcase at the Improv, you can't do this. You have to be yourself. And unless you're going to be yourself, you'll never move forward. You'll never move forward in comedy.
Yeah.
You have to tap into this. If you don't, you know, and everybody did it. Everybody goes up there doing hokey jokes in the beginning. It's no shame. It's no embarrassment. You do topical material and shit. But once you start comparing that topical material with what's going on in your life and you open that up, it becomes a monster. It takes a long time, though, or it takes some people longer than others, but it's the work, Joe Rogan. It's always been the work, man. You know, I was watching Chappelle the other night on stage. Jesus fucking Christ, Joe. I see the 30 years. I see your 20 years. But I see his 30 years. I see that 6 or 5 year difference. He looks at a joke really differently.
Well, he was great even when he was 19.
Yes, he was.
He's just always
at the Boston
had
Comedy Club in '93 for Men in Tights. I paid. It was him, Nick DiPaolo. What an open mic. And he always had something.
He's got a way of telling stories, too. He's got a genuinely appealing way he delivers his material. Like, it makes you want to laugh. But you have a lot of that, too, man. You have a lot of that, too. You have a lot of that genuinely appealing. You have a different kind of chaos when you're on stage. But what I was going to say is that it happened really quick. Like, you went from being a guy who had a really hard time on stage most of the time, and then all of a sudden you were murdering, man. Just murdering. Just murdering. I remember one time we were doing gigs together, like, we were doing gigs together in the 90s.
98.
Yeah, the late 90s we did some road gigs. We did a bunch of road gigs. And I remember, when I knew that you had caught fire, because we were in New Jersey. And I think this might have been even before Fear Factor. We were in New Jersey, and you just caught fire. We were at that old Rascals, and I went, whoa. And I remember thinking, like, Joey just fucking hit this totally different level. Like, you just figured out how to be you. And you were on stage, and a lot of it was because you're in Jersey, you know, and there were animals. You remember that club? That club was filled with savages. It was so fun. That Rascals Club, Jesus Christ, that was fun. Where was that? In West Orange, yes, West Orange. God damn. And then there was the other one down the shore, which it was really fun, but it was more like white people. It was like more relaxed. That one was filled with all sorts of freaks. It was a great club.
And down
so
the
much
block
fun.
was like a strip club from that one, like a really cold strip club with Russian chicks that had no air conditioning, that had no heat. And the other comic took me in there. I forget who the headliner was. I was freezing in there.
Yeah.
Freezing. That was a creepy, but it was a fun Rascals. All those Rascals.
What was the dude's name that ran it again? The guy with the beautiful hair?
Hairdo.
What was his name?
He'll call me today.
Okay.
I have his number in there.
I'll not forget his name.
He'll call me today to wish me a Merry Christmas after all those years.
That's awesome.
Because somebody will tell him that last time or the time before we mentioned him, he called me that night. He owns a restaurant now in Jersey.
Really?
He goes, it does
something. Visit him.
The bus boys went in there going, oh my God, Joe Rogan was talking about you. Some young college kids are like his waiters or waitresses or whatever the fuck.
He was always a good dude. He was always a good dude.
It's great to go down to the store now and just sit in the back and watch comedy and not say a word. And watch, like the other night, I watched Norm, I watched Arsenio, and I watched Ron White. I watched, you know that he's talking about he should have taken the money now, Dave Chappelle. I almost fucking died. He goes, I should have taken the money. I should have put my 2 feet down and taken the money and shit.
He's an interesting guy, isn't he? Because he doesn't really put material out anymore. He's just killing it, writing new shit, killing it everywhere, but he's not like doing specials. I wonder if he's like thinking about doing a special.
Oh, I'm sure they've made him 10 offers to do
Yeah, but
a
I mean, I
special.
wonder if he even wants to, because he's so different than anybody. Like, you can't predict that guy. Like, what he's done so far is just so unusual. Like, they offer him this big money to do this thing, and he's like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to Africa. Like, he goes to Africa, you know, and then he starts doing shows in parks. Like, Dave will have, like, people, maybe you never heard these stories, but he would show up with, like, a PA system, like a little portable PA system in a park in Seattle, and he would put this little PA system down and just start doing stand-up in the park.
Can Jeremy find something for me on YouTube?
Yeah, sure.
Jeremy, can you look at Charlie Barnett in Washington Square Park?
Yeah, I met Charlie.
No, I met him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I've seen
just to show Redman the gift.
Well,
Like,
we'll tell everybody what he used to do. He used to do shows outside, just like he would just show up and he would drop his hat on the ground and like do a stand-up comedy routine and ask people to contribute, throw money in his hat.
Wait, look at this. Yeah. This is why I used to go to McSorley's and get 8 volumes for $10 and 3 mugs for $1. And
bring it back to the beginning, Jimmy, and put the volume up so we could hear it.
Redman.
Wow. The volume's not working? We got some form of a sound issue, ladies and gentlemen. But what we're seeing, for people that are just listening, is this guy, Charlie Barnett, who has since passed away. He's wearing like some red track pants and a white T-shirt and a white baseball hat, and he's got this huge group of people circling him, and he's in the middle of a park. He just set up and he's doing stand-up comedy, like he's doing with no microphone. Here he goes.
Puerto Ricans! Puerto Ricans! We got a lot of fucking Puerto Ricans! But I'm not gonna fuck with the Puerto Ricans, man, because y'all born with knives. Right? You'll cut me up and I won't even know what you're saying. Me
people just go
see
down
that
at you.
And when you finish, you go, que pasa, bro? Because I got into a fight with a Puerto Rican kid, and I was winning. I was bouncing around like Sugar Ray Leonard. I was bam, bam, bam. He was only about that tall. Then all of a sudden, he went like this. And I was surrounded by a small Puerto Rican family of 4,000. I like everything, man. Let me borrow it, okay?
So he
I
would
like
do these
pocketbooks. I love
shows.
pocketbooks. I like the way white women walk with their pocketbook when there's no Negroes around. I don't see no niggas. And you know what else I like about New York? I like the way different nationalities go to work. Everybody goes to work different. For instance, Caucasian businessman. I need some white people glasses.
He's like walking around borrowing
White
shit from
people
people. He's been holding
right
his
there,
lady's
right there.
purse.
What year is this?
This has to be 85. Look at this. 83.
Damn, you can't see shit.
I was going to watch in 83.
I can touch my dick. How do white guys go to work? They got their briefcase. I can walk just like the white man going to work. Watch this, white guys.
Oh, this is so corny.
I love when they stand on the corner and go,
Yeah.
and how do black folks go to work? We be talking about, fuck it, I should get there by payday. I do
Just to show people what
Yeah.
it was. I mean, this is a guy outside. Listen, the reason why you have a microphone is for control.
Yeah.
He had no microphone. He's still fucking controlling. You didn't see no. I mean, he got to the point where people were going down there.
Yeah.
This was by like a college, and my friend was a junkie, and I was like 16, and he used to come over to the city with me, and I'll buy you some Valiums. I'll go into the park, I'll get heroin, and wait for me at the bar. He would get me served. He'd get me 3 mugs of Budweiser, and I'd sit there. He'd come back when the second mug was gone, give me my 8 pills. I'd take 2 of them, and then he'd go shoot heroin, and I'd go, fuck it, let me go walk around the park. And I saw this. One time I saw this, and I was in shock. I'm like, I didn't like stand-up comedy. I knew none. I knew Richard Pryor and George Carlin and David Brenner. And I'm watching this guy going, what the fuck is this? And next thing you know, I sat down, I started getting high, and I watched it. And I asked around. They said, he's here every weekend or something, and this is what he does. Then years later, I found out that he would do that for 4 or 5 hours. But he would take breaks, and Dave Chappelle would come in as a young kid. Dave Chappelle would take the bus from D.C. or something and go up there and do little sets in between them.
That's
he
awesome.
He died from banging.
Yeah.
He died from the HIV. He's the real deal, that dude. He was an old New York icon type fucking junkie.
Yeah, he was a heroin guy, right?
A heroin guy. But it was just weird that he did. I watched all those. I didn't know that somebody had taped them. That's amazing.
I did a show with Chappelle in Montreal at the Comedy Festival in the 90s. Forget what year it was. But after the show was over, we did it at Club Soda. We go downstairs, and Dave just puts on a show, like on the street in Montreal. People just walking by. It's like, gather round, gather round. And he just starts doing stand-up. He did stand-up for like 20 people on the street. You know, like he incorporated like this, there was a telephone pole. He incorporated the pole into his routine. He had a hat. He put the hat down, asked people to put money in it. Like, and he just got off stage. So he did a professional show, went downstairs, was outside, and just said, fuck it. I'm going to do my own impromptu show out here on the street. It was fascinating. I mean, who other than Charlie and him have you ever even heard of doing that? I mean, sure, some people have done it, but those are the only 2 guys I've ever heard.
What was the black guy that did Venice Beach all the time?
Michael Collier?
Yes,
Yeah.
been a bunch of movies and
Yeah,
stuff. He did
yeah.
that stuff.
That's true, right? he did a bunch of different stuff.
Did you ever have to do a show out? Oh, yeah, he did the Milwaukee one for a bunch of kids and shit out in the tent. But did you ever do a little something?
Summerfest.
Like I had to do comedy on a bus one time for people. For people going to like a Disney event. They called me up when I was in New York, $75 like for an hour.
Oh, man.
You get on the bus and go from Secaucus to New York, and 3 comics got to get up and do comedy. What a fucking bombing that was. That was a bombing experience, bro.
Jesus Christ. Those gigs.
I did a spot at the New York Comedy Club one time, and after I get off, I probably got 8 minutes, dog. And 6 of it is just god-awful. And I get off the stage, and some guy's like, hey, man, do you want to do my wife's birthday party? I'm like, sure. And he's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. What do you usually? He goes, I give you like $1,500. I said, done. He gives me the address in Alpine, New Jersey, off 9W. You make the right by Englewood Cliffs. I fucking take a cab up there. I'm about to score $1,500. Me, and you know me, at that time, I'm still looking for purses. I was still a half a little fucking klepto. So, like, you ready to go? Yeah, where's the microphone? They're like, there's no microphone. You got to go over by the pool. On the other side of the pool, there's rocks, and stand on top of the rocks. It's stand-up comedy. Dog, they were 80 yards away from me. I'm up there telling Godzilla jokes. Dying a slow death of death.
Godzilla jokes.
I get off. I was so embarrassed that the guy's like, listen, I only got like $900 in cash. You want to check? I go, no, just give me the $900. I'll take it. I took that $900 and I walked. I started walking. Some guy hitchhiked and picked me up, and I fucking made him drop me at the bridge. And I walked over the bridge and got like an 8-ball of coke. I was so embarrassed.
Did you really have Godzilla jokes?
Oh, yeah, I used to have a
What,
Godzilla.
do you remember what it?
Yeah, that Godzilla would never attack New York City. Okay, because can you imagine Godzilla coming out of the Hudson and going rah, also on all the pollution and shit? He'd go like this and go back in the water. Horrible. That was my big joke. That was my big joke. That was it. That was it. I thought that was, and you know, at that time, the Puerto Rican, something happened with the Puerto Rican Navy. They bumped into a barge, like some Puerto Rican cruise boat bumped into a barge on the New York side, and they broke the barge, so everybody on the boat had to jump. At the time, everybody had to jump into the fucking water, and that was the joke. I said, you know, last Tuesday in New York, a bus full of a cruise boat of Puerto Ricans hit the thing. 40 Puerto Ricans in the Hudson. That's nothing new. That was my other big closer. That was it.
That's nothing new.
It's environmental and racist.
That's it.
Somebody told me they're cleaning up the Hudson. Is that true?
Listen, they couldn't clean up the Hudson
God, can you imagine
if they wanted
bodies are
to.
in there?
You know how many fucking sperm loads I shot in there off the Binghamton boat when I was a kid? I used to go to the Binghamton boat for dinner, and they had a movie theater in Edgewater, New Jersey. Edgewater is Copland, where they shot Copland.
Right.
That's what Edgewater was supposed to be. And my friend had a restaurant, H&B Diner. I used to go down there. Exactly where they shot that bar, I used to go in there and buy little bottles of blackberry brandy for us when we were kids. And they redid all that shit down there. Have you seen that in New York?
No.
That is beautiful fucking now. That's where I stay now. I stay in Edgewater.
Really?
I take the ferry over.
How long does that take?
The ferry?
Yeah.
10 minutes. I take the ferry over. I jump in my fucking cab. I go to 20th Street. I do Gotham. I do the Stand. I take a cab back to the ferry.
How hard would it be to live in New York and take a boat across from New Jersey?
Every day. People do it every day.
How many people
As a matter
have
of
their
fact,
own
I gave the card to a lot of people, but I gave the card to Ari.
I would think that would be like a smart move.
Yeah.
You get
Just
a place
get
in
your own
Jersey,
boat.
and you get a boat. Yeah, you go
And
across
drive
the river.
across to the Hudson, dock
Yeah.
it, and then go do your thing.
Yeah.
Is that what Louis does? Isn't he a big boat guy? He has his own boat.
He definitely has a boat. I don't know if that's what he does, or if I think he lives in Manhattan though.
Oh.
But I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get across that water. Like it's just water. Just get across. It's way better than those stupid bridges. Like if you could figure out a way to to live like that, just take Ubers on one side, park your car on the other. Like that's the way to go,
Yeah.
right?
I love New York, but they're taking that city down eventually. You don't need to be a genius or a scholar or Nostradamus. Stupid Joey Diaz. When you pull up the Lincoln Tunnel now, dog, there's guys in full fucking gear with Nazi helmets, fucking machine guns under their arms and dogs. And they go up to every fucking car, dog, and there's fucking 50 of them. The bridges, you see them everywhere. When I went to take my wife to the tree at the Saks Fifth Avenue, you could see the motherfucking snipers up on the fucking roofs, dog. They ain't fucking around. And when you're walking around New York, you're like, I could see this. They're really going after the bridge, like my friends work. Oh, Gino. They work at Hoboken and all those guys. And when I did the whatever factory now, I guess all these cops have to do details because they want to take that bridge out, though. And they want to take that fucking bridge out and that tunnel. That's going to be a nightmare. When I was walking around New York, I got to tell you, I could see it. I could see how it could go down, man. That's a big city with a lot of fucking people, Joe Rogan. It's tough to control all those people in that area, you know.
It's so much different than any other city, too.
My God, man.
When you get there, you just the magnitude of it all just kind of like sets in. You're like, no wonder why people can't leave this place. If you get used to this, there's no place like that place.
Never.
It's so bizarre. It's 7 million plus people smushed into the smallest little area. It's not that big. If you look at all the buildings that are tucked in, I remember I had a hotel room once, and it was on a corner. And it was like sometimes it's cool to be on the outside. Like I had a friend who lived in Brooklyn. And he had a cool view from the river. Like you look from his apartment, you see the whole city skyscraper, the whole skyline. It was pretty beautiful. But there's something cool about being in the middle of it all. And this hotel I stayed at was on a corner, and I'd like look out the window on both sides, and just fucking, it's like a science fiction movie. Just giant constructed buildings to the left and to the right, and you're in the middle of all of it. Hundreds and hundreds of windows, everyone looking out at each other. Everyone's in there watching their little TV shows, doing their little thing. But you're in the middle of all of it, like this crazy sci-fi beehive type thing. You know, and where we live, you know, we drive to each other's houses. There's like a yard. There's a space. You're pulling your driveway. Hey, come on in. You know, park in the driveway. It's like normal stuff, you know? Like, yeah, you get out of the house. Hey, this is your house. Right over there, that's his house. And no, it's fucking stacked. Everybody's stacked. Stacked on top of stacked on top of stacked. Smashed together. Stacked, stacked, stacked. Everybody jammed into these boxes. Cars, little fucking yellow cars and Ubers everywhere on the ground. No one gets anywhere when gridlock hits. Crosstown traffic. The reason why Hendrix wrote that fucking song, and that was in the 70s, okay? In the 60s, I guess he wrote it, right? That when you're in the Manhattan gridlock crosstown traffic, you're like, this is insane. Like, why the fuck would anybody live here? You can't go anywhere. It's just jam, 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 jam. The whole thing, jam, 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 jam. No one's moving anywhere. And there's so many fucking people. And everywhere you look, there's delis and restaurants and storage units and parking lots and fucking this business and that business and this door and that door. It's all just whoop, just a vortex of energy. Just
and what they want for that fucking shit.
Incredible.
Like we were in Edgewater just driving around and we saw this thing. The next day I go, ask around, Terry. Go on the computer. Like 2 days later, she's like, oh my God, just to move in there, they want $500,000. And then whatever your mortgage is, it's $1,700 flat just for maintenance fees.
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of maintenance fees.
Maintenance fees a month, $1,700. And that's if you don't use the gym or the pool or the garage. If you use all that stuff, there's another $890 fucking fee. This fee, you got to buy the water from them. She goes, it was fucking crazy. And at the end of the day, you got a motherfucking apartment. That's all you got. You can call it condo, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a fucking apartment, my friend. Yeah. And yeah, you got the view of the Manhattan skyline. That's what you're paying for, the view.
Yeah. I mean, think about how much of one of those big apartment buildings must be worth. Because every one of those units is $1 million. $1 million. Or more. A lot of them, much more. I saw some that were like $5 million. Like, you got to be kidding. This is a normal apartment in Silver Lake. And it was like $5 million. Like, this is crazy.
I couldn't live like that. Could you?
I could live like that if I had the experience of living there. Like, if it was normal to me. Like, I think the people that do live there, when you get used to driving around on the subway, riding around in cabs, you get used to where all the clubs are, you do your little routine, you get in the airport to take off to cities and you work the road, you get used to it. You get used to, like, Attell does it. A lot of those other guys do it, but once you get used to space, and once you get used to, like, being able to go dip out and dip back in without that much trouble, like, it's way easier to, like, live in the valley and then drive into the store on a Friday night than it would ever be if you live somewhere like that, equally far away from Manhattan, and you wanted to get in to do a spot. Like, that's a 2-hour proposition. Like, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to enter that machine, you know, especially if you're going to do it at like 7 o'clock at night. So what time are you going to leave your house? You going to leave your house at 5:30 for your 7 o'clock show? Ugh.
Then you leave your wallet at home.
You forget your phone in the driveway.
That's what it makes sense to hit and hit. If you live
Yeah.
let's say if you let's say you live in Brooklyn, you got to take the train in to New York, Manhattan, something like that, right? You get used to that. I think the television like in Brooklyn or something like that.
Right.
Even if he just takes the train in, you do 4 or 5 spots. He does the cellar, the stand, you know.
Yeah.
You do a couple spots and get back on your train and go home at 1:30.
Now with Ubers too, it's just so easy to do it. It's so easy to just, you know, use your app. Your car shows up in a couple of minutes. This is so much less hassle, you know. Especially because like with cabs, you don't know if a cab's coming. So what are you gonna do in Manhattan? You're gonna call a cab company, say come get me on this. Nobody ever does that. You try to flag one, so you try to find one. You go walking around looking for one. But now you just press a button on your phone, and they're like, "We'll be there in 3 minutes." All right, cool.
But because of
They just
Uber
pull
now
right
in
up to
New
you.
York, the cabs are getting easy to get. I got a cab every time I went in this time. Yeah,
Good.
real fucking fast.
Competition.
0 to 100, bitch.
Lyft just
real
got
motherfucking
LAX.
quick. You ever take Uber yet? I taken it
Yeah.
one time. I took a black one time to a.
I've taken it a few times in New York. I use it all the time in New York. I could do. I think I could do it. Like Ari's enjoying it. He's enjoying it. He likes doing it. It would be harder for me because I have kids. I just don't think New York's like the best place for kids. And maybe I'm wrong. Just seems, first of all, that brake dust can't be good for you. And there's brake. If you feel like finding out what the fuck you breathe, go look at your wheels. Look at your car's wheels and just stick your finger inside the rim and get that black shit all over your finger. Well, that just it doesn't just go on your wheel and stick there only. No, as you like see like crazy traffic, like on Fifth Avenue or something like that. You see Broadway traffic, just bam, 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 bam. You're breathing in brake dust, 100%. That stuff's in the air. So it's not just the carbon fuel, the residue, like the exhaust from cars, whatever fires are being burned, whatever gas ovens, and that shit. It's not just that, but it's brake dust. Brake dust is everywhere. And you're getting that shit in your lungs, 100%. It's not good for you. It's just not. You know, and they've shown, there's studies that think that living in a high populated city like New York can take as much as 10 years off your life. Just living there, doing exactly the same thing, living the exact same choices, but living in a polluted environment, like downtown LA. It's probably a good example of that, right? Downtown gets funky. You know, it gets fucking polluted.
But it's still more open than, say, New York or anything like that. You could at least see the sky in most places.
Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. But LA gets pretty stinky, man. LA can get pretty bad. If we get stagnant and the winds don't blow and then the pollution just sits, you know how you crest, like if you come over from like Encino and you see the valley and you see that fucking horrible brown cloud? That's real. That's not an illusion. And you don't see that in the desert. If you go out where there's no people, that doesn't exist. Like, that exists because of people burning things. That you're breathing that in. Everyone's breathing that in.
In '93, I lived in New York, and I would get up at 7 and go into the city. I lived in Cliffside, but I worked in New York. And I'd go into New York and bum around, and then sometimes I'd take a shower at the gym. I joined the boxing gym, and I just would go there for the locker, basically. I would hit the bag a little. I didn't know what I was doing, and I would fucking... just go out at night. And I remember sometimes I wouldn't take a shower at the gym at 6, like I was busy, and I'd get home at 11 and I'd take a shower and you'd see what would come out of my hair. And I'd just be walking around Manhattan, guys. I didn't go anywhere else. I'd just be walking around Manhattan, getting cabs, doing this, dropping off packages. It was, you could see, I didn't do anything.
Residue.
It was this darkness, like it was like, Jesus Christ, where the fuck have I been? And I got used to it after a while, but it really stuck with me. Like, just walking around Manhattan, 6 or 7 hours would do this to me. Like, it really, I would get more blackheads there. My hair, like, when you wash it, you would see the fucking dirt. Like, just not real, a lot of dirt, but you see that you have something on your skin.
Let me ask you this. Does this make sense to you? If they can make a big giant building, like the Empire State Building, they can make a big-ass building. Why can't they make a big-ass air filter? Well, if you're going to put up that many buildings and have that many people and that many cars, how about you build a giant air filter? I mean, like, they sell air filters for your house. Like, my daughter's allergic to cats, we're finding out. So, you know, we have 2 cats, and so now we have to shave the cats. So I've been shaving them. First of all, it's adorable when you see them.
Line cuts.
Yeah, they get the line cuts. And then the other thing is when you shave them, it's just almost like skin. So it's like just a little bit of fur, and it must feel so much better when you pet them. Because when I pet, especially like the little girl, well, the big one, the boy too, but when I pet them, they just start fucking writhing like you're making them come. They're like, wow. They love it. They love it. They love it when you're petting them, when you've shaved them all down. But we have this air cleaner that we have to put in her bedroom because she starts sneezing and shit. We're finding out that she's not terribly allergic, but allergic enough, so we have to figure out what to do. But they make these air filters. It makes a big difference. You put them in your room, sucks all the dander and all the stuff out of the air, cleans it. It seems like if you can make a giant-ass building, why can't you make a giant-ass air filter that sucks all that dirty, brown, stinky air out and cleans it? Like, that can't be impossible to do. It just doesn't seem like it should be. If you can make a big building and you can make a big fan, you can make a big fucking air cleaner. Can't you?
It makes sense. But
Am I
you'd have to
making sense?
clean it every 2 minutes or something.
Coming from the man who brought you parachutes on commercial airplanes.
That sucks. But a lot of people get used to the cat, allergies. I know a lot of ex-girlfriends that would first like, hey, I'm allergic to cats, and then after a few years or whatever, they would stop being as allergic. Though a lot of
you vaccinated them with your dick.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Slowly but surely,
they can't feel anything anymore.
That non-cat allergy DNA into their body, and they assimilate it.
I was at a gas station the other day, and they were selling poppers. And I recently was at a
amyl nitrate. You mean?
Yeah.
And, sure?
Yeah, it said popper. It even said like it was like the little jar and everything, and it's like. And I went to a party and I actually saw my first person actually using poppers. What?
Yeah, but I guarantee that's not the same thing. I guarantee the stuff they're selling at a gas station is not like amyl nitrate. That's highly illegal.
Is it?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is you know how those boner pills, like you buy boner pills at the gas station and they pretend they're herbs, but it's really Cialis or Viagra or something like that. I think what these things are is something similar to that. Just how like bath salts were never really bath salts. They can just call it whatever they want. They can call it poppers, as long as it's not amyl nitrate.
What was bath salts? Really?
Bath salts they would call it bath salts so they could sell it. It would say not for human consumption, but what it really is was they had done something to meth. So they had say like, this is an idiot's way of describing this, right? Just let me get that out of the way. When you describe something like a molecule, like the chemical that your brain produces, dimethyltryptamine. It's N,N-dimethyltryptamine. That's illegal. But there's a thing called 5-MeO dimethyltryptamine that's legal because they fucked up and they didn't list it. So you could get that stuff, and it's like a cousin of DMT. It's called 5-MeO DMT. Well, that's similar to what they did with this meth thing. They would take meth, and then they would just change a little bit of it, add an oxygen molecule, add a carbon molecule, whatever they have to do. And that turns it into something different. So it's not illegal, but it'll fuck you up. Like face eating fuck you up. So then they sell it as bath salts, saying, yeah, throw this in the bath, hop in there, wink, wink. And everybody knows you're just going to go smoke it. And they smoke this stuff, and it blows their fucking brains out because they don't even know what it is. But you're selling like high-potency meth at truck stops. I mean, that's where they're selling it. They were selling it at those little convenient marks, those weird 24-hour gas stations. That's where they were selling it. And you could just go in and buy meth through a loophole. And so all these people were buying this shit.
Well, that's how much of an idiot I am. For years, you go into a place on the East Coast, and they always had a rose in the tube.
Yeah, it's a crack pipe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's not
Really?
really a rose. The rose is you throw that fucking rose away and smoke crack out of that thing.
It's a crack pipe.
You didn't know that, Brian?
No, I
Legal
didn't know
way to
that.
sell a
Awesome.
crack pipe.
Well, I knew it because my friend Johnny was a crackhead.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
great.
And they sell, right? How many stores do you go to? Yeah, you're like, a rose. Who would buy a rose? A fucking crackhead would.
They had to figure out a way to sell those things
With a
legally.
loophole.
So they sold like a little tiny
you
glass
believe that,
vase with a rose in
I
it.
should have bought some of these because it was in West Hollywood and they were lined up and they had different logos on it, just like I
Look at
have
that.
seen those.
Come on, man. Those are
That
DMT pipes too. That's what you smoke DMT out of.
Hilarious.
How crazy
Happy
is that? That's the
Valentine.
loophole right there.
Yeah. And then
That's
interesting.
the beauty about paying a nickel and getting an attorney and sitting with them and going, how can I sell this
Put a flower in it, son.
That's so fucking great.
It's beautiful.
Can you believe, Brian?
Yeah.
I'm fucking 40 when I found out. Don't feel ashamed. I'm supposed to be the king of swing, and
It's
I'm
hilarious.
like, that's a fucking crack pipe.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
I keep on finding out these horrible things that I should have known a long time ago. Like on the toaster, the 1 through 10. That's how many minutes. It's not like hot and cold, you know?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
no
thought it
idea.
was the
was hot.
darkness of the toast.
Yeah.
Yes,
too.
that's what I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why. I was like, why does 7 take so long? I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm making toast going, Jesus Christ, I need a faster toaster.
Yeah.
Something that gets you to 7 quicker.
Yeah. I had no idea that little thing when you zip up your pants, the little knob thing, if you put it down, that locks your zipper.
Down.
Like if like when you're zipping it up, the handle. If you put the handle down, it
Do you
locks
usually
your
leave it
zipper.
up?
Well, you just kind of like zip up your pants and not think about it, and then later you're like, "Why is my zipper down?" It's because you didn't just do that extra little.
No, that one I knew. That one I knew.
You did know that one?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't understand what you're saying.
This handle thing, like
This right here.
yeah, like so
Right.
this.
You put it down.
Put it down, it locks it. That's
How's
the
it
lock.
lock it?
I don't know. That's the lock. That's the whole technology of the
Oh,
zipper.
I see. So it can't unlock until you lift it up.
Yes.
Oh,
Isn't
I
that
didn't
cool?
know that. I didn't know that at all. Wow.
I have like 5 more.
I
of
just
these things.
realized when I'm trying to do it when it's bent down that I literally can't unzip my pants. Fascinating.
Yes.
I had no idea. Well, it makes sense, right? Otherwise, it just wouldn't work. Zippers are bullshit. I'm tired of zippers,
I fucking
man.
hate fucking zippers.
My zipper's always down. Someone's always like, "Your zippers are down, man."
Now
and,
it's not.
And well, it's also I don't think it matters because I wear these goddamn stretchy pants. All my pants are like fake jeans. They look like jeans. They're fake jeans. I had one that I was wearing that had fucking. It had a tie. It was a pair of diesel, and they stretch, and you tie them like sweatpants. And I would show people, and they would scream no. They would scream no, you can't wear that. You can't wear that. You're wearing stretchy pants at a time. I'm like, why? Why can't I wear
That's
that?
so funny.
People were like saying, like these girls in the comedy store, like, you can't wear those. You can't wear those. I'm like, I'm wearing them. Why can't I wear them? Why can't I wear? You can't wear pants.
Those
and
jeans
tie.
look great.
These are fucking fantastic.
Those jeans look
Yeah,
great.
they look real. You got me hooked on them. I don't have the good kind like that.
And you order them online?
Yeah. These are. I have no affiliation with this company. They're called Barbell jeans.
Yeah.
They're great.
I love them.
They're so stretchy. They're so stretchy. They move like sweatpants. They feel like there's no resistance. Like where I wear normal pants, I feel like I'm wearing a straight jacket now. Like,
It's like wearing pajamas outside.
I got a new company that it's also, but this is a sponsor of the podcast. It's called Mizzen in Maine, and they make these clothes that are made out of this really light, stretchy material, like a button-up shirt. But you know, a button-up shirt's always like, it looks like a normal button-up shirt, but you don't feel anything. You move with it. It's like a light cotton T-shirt. It's amazing. It stretches. It moves with you everywhere you go. Like I just want.
Does it have the thickness look of it, or is it like, you have
it
to
looks
have a
like-
buff body or your nipples are showing through it? You
My
know what I
nipples
mean?
probably definitely show through it because my nipples are ferocious. But it looks like a regular shirt. It doesn't look like anything unusual about it. But I'm that close to going fucking sweatpants and fanny pack everywhere. I'm that close.
Yeah.
I'm that close to just completely throwing in the towel.
you're
getting
done,
a
yeah.
Old school Sopranos tracksuit.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want
don't
to see a
give a
walking
fuck.
stick.
I might even get like some yellow Hunter S. Thompson glasses. Like just yellow, wear them indoors, outdoors, everywhere. Just fuck it. And instead, Hunter S. Thompson always had the cigarette lighter. That's a vapor pen. Instead of the cigarette holder, it's the same thing as a vapor pen. Just going full yellow glasses, tracksuit, fanny pack. That's my new look. Toe shoes. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna wear those Vibrams, those 5-finger.
You have those already?
Fuck yeah. I have
And where
those.
you wear them at?
Nowhere. I hide those things. I don't want anybody to see me in
You
them.
keep them at the house?
There's fucking glasses. There's something about when you're wearing glasses like that, you have no business in reality. You're not doing business in reality. You're here for your own thing. You're here to party.
That's so crazy.
That guy was the best.
This guy was fucking...
He was the best. But he would wear those yellow glasses.
I gotta be honest with you guys. When I saw him, I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Well,
man.
you saw him in real life in Woody Creek, right?
Yeah, I saw him. I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Man.
And then somebody told me, and then I went back down there, and then I saw Bill Murray at that fucking place. Bill Murray would go visit him.
Oh, yeah. Everybody would go visit him.
People would go visit him. How crazy is that?
Have you ever read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
No, it's been years.
God damn, it's good. It's good, dude. He's got some great passages in it. There's some great moments that he captured on paper that just make you go, fuck. He had this ability to hit these rare patches of insight, just rare areas. You just break into these rare areas and make these passages, make these paragraphs, so you just go, whoa, god damn. Like, talking with him must have been fucking fascinating.
I read the biker book.
Yeah, Hell's Angels.
That was one of the first books I read.
That was the first one.
I didn't care who the author was. I didn't even know what an author was at that time.
What that book was, though, was like a much more of a regular journalism book. It was a book about the Hells Angels. Like, they had disputed some of the facts in it. You know, they said that a lot of stuff he made was made up, and he tried to make it all look like a lot different than it really is. And the evidence to that was when he started doing his best work, was all that. His best work was like Fear and Loathing and the Kentucky Derby is decadent and depraved. Yeah. Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail. Like, that stuff where he combined fiction and reality. Like, that guy sunk presidential candidates. There's this guy named Ed Muskie who was running for president, and Hunter S. Thompson started talking about him bringing in a Brazilian doctor because he's addicted to Ibogaine. So he starts spreading these stories about these rumors that there's a Brazilian doctor coming to visit Ed Muskie, and he starts having fucking mental breakdowns. This guy's on the campaign trail, and he's reading these stories about him, bringing in some Brazilian doctor, and he's fucking falling apart. Hunter's just making it up. He's just making up all this shit about him having an Ibogaine addiction, and that when he was on stage, you could see him in the full grips of an Ibogaine addiction. Nobody even knew what the fuck Ibogaine was. And so he just made up this rumor. And then when they asked him about it, he goes, no, there really was a rumor. And I started the rumor. It's just like, you would joke around about mixing reality and fiction. And he would combine the two of them together. Like, he was the only guy that ever did that. Like, and openly did it. Like, you would read it, and he would call it gonzo journalism. And you would know that, like, as you were reading it, that this wasn't all real. Like, some of this stuff, it was just complete, total fantasy. You know? We were right outside of Barstow when the bats... what is it? When the drugs began to take hold? Like, those stories about, like, all the different shit that they had in the trunk when they were headed to Vegas from Barstow. The bats in the air. The fucking acid trip in the reception area of the Vegas hotel. When he's, like, screaming out about golf shoes. And he sees everybody turn into lizards. Like, this is fucking bizarre, bizarre shit. You know? He was a very, very unusual guy.
He took a lot of acid, bro.
He did. But he went a different way with it. What's really fascinating about him, he went like guns and fucking living in the woods and just blowing your brains out with cocaine every night. Like, he went a totally different way with it. He didn't go like the Kumbaya way. You know, like all these other dudes, they got together and they sat Indian style and they played Indian music and chimes and burned incense, and they went the spiritual route. And he went the other way. He went the total other way. He went get acid and then get a gun and then go outside.
He was shooting golf balls.
Yeah.
Like, to put him in the hole, like he was playing golf with a gun. So he would shoot the balls to put him in a hole or something like that. Just shit that it was, you know, I was living in Snowmass Village and I was hearing different rumblings. I was still 19 or 20, so I don't know if I was allowed in that bar that much. I would just go in there with Cato, my man Cato, to get weed. That was it. That was his name was Keith Korn, and he would take me. Keith Korn, his life's mission was to get the best weed in Colorado. And I told him, from now on, you get a bag of weed, knock on my door, I'll give you the $40. So he would come to me and go, there's this guy in Woody Creek. He's got this weed. It's killing people. We got to go down to the tavern.
It was Hunter?
And no, it wasn't Hunter that was selling it.
One of Hunter's friends?
Dishwasher or something that was selling weed there or something.
How far was that from where you were living?
Maybe 10 minutes down Snowmass Village Hill, and then go loop around, and then go into Woody Creek.
So you lived in Boulder and you lived in Aspen?
I lived in a town called Basalt first, and right around the corner from Goldie Hawn and motherfucking Kurt Russell.
Dang.
On the river, on whatever river that was.
Golden's
Basalt
Pond.
is a
What's that?
Is it Golden Pond?
No, Basalt
No, it's a river. It's not
so
a pond, you
Basalt
fuck.
Basalt is a little. This is Route 82, which is one of the most dangerous roads in the country. So it goes north and south. This is Aspen, right straight ahead. You have to go up 3 miles to go to Snowmass Village, and then you have to go over here to go to Woody Creek.
Okay.
But Basalt was down here, about 40 minutes from town, and you had to go up and up a hill. And in that hill, there was maybe a gun store and a restaurant, but there was a place. I was a New York City fucking kid. And when I first saw this, I got addicted to this, worse than cocaine. I would walk from Basalt every day and walk from Holland Hills. That's where I lived. In fact, Dean Cain had a home there. And I would walk up, and back there, you go in there, you get the guy, bro, this is the best idea ever. I'd smoke homegrown. The girl next to me was growing homegrown, and she cut it with a scissor, and they got me more high than the shit I'm paying fucking 50 for now. This shit was fucking deadly. I was an 18-year-old kid, and I would walk. I'd give this guy $7, and he'd give me a fishing pole. And I'd throw it into the Roaring Creek, and after 2 minutes, an idiot, a blind moron, could catch a trout. And he'd come over, you'd say, I got something. And he'd come over, and he'd help you. Oh, shit, little trout. He'd take it off for you, cook it, and then give you potato salad, bread, and beans, and you'd have your own fish that he'd grill up for you.
Really? Right there.
1983. I was hooked on that. I wouldn't even get a job. I took all my savings, and I would go there. That was my exercise, to walk down there, get a fish, and walk home. Walk down there, get a fish, and then the animals would come home, and we would squat. We would squat and do deadlifts and fucking cleans. My roommates, that's what they're in there shooting D-ball, shooting Deca and eating Winnie V to chop up. It was amazing. That's all I ate was trout. I never heard of that. And then over here is Old Snowmass, and they used to have a gas station there. And the guy's from New York, so it was always New York time in there. It was so bizarre. And he sold Sabret hot dogs there in 1982. There were that much New Yorkers. But that's where I saw Goldie Hawn and that little girl for the first time. That little girl was just a little girl when I used to see her at that gas station.
You mean,
yeah.
What is her name? The actress, the famous actress?
Yeah. And Old Snowmass had another road that went this way. And this is a tremendous story. There was because all this at the time in the 80s were kingpins. A lot of kingpins lived there, and that's where they go. They had this cocaine kingpin, a white guy who lived there, not the Grabo that we discussed earlier on your show, this other guy. And the feds were trying to get him, so they fucking put cameras on all the, all street things to watch him. They fucked up, and they tapped into the cable TV. So his house was being shown to everybody on their TVs. So Joe Rogan went home, put on Channel 2, and it's me in my living room smoking a joint watching. That fucking guy sued the government for fucking gazillions because they didn't know how to reverse that. They had tapped into the cable. This is when Aspen had 4 channels.
That's hilarious.
They had one Channel 2, and all they played was Charles Bronson movies. I was in heaven because at the Holiday Inn in Aspen, right there by the airport, Clint Eastwood would go there every night and get drunk.
Really?
So bro, I was a kid.
What year was this?
This is 83. I'm a kid. And the rumor was all you had to do is go to the Holiday Inn, and Clint Eastwood would be at the bar drinking. And, bro, everybody would say, I was too young to go to the fucking bar. I was dying to meet Clint Eastwood. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
But I couldn't go. And it was just, dog, this was just a complete different fucking city.
How did everybody get attracted to that one area?
Aspen just had this lure. Aspen's a great place.
It's a great place.
It's a great place.
It's a lot of rich white people, though.
Tons of rich white people.
You might get bored.
Did you see?
It's different now.
Yesterday they were talking about something. That chick was in Vegas. The chick we were just talking about, Goldie Hawn.
Right.
Her ski instructor. She gave
Kate Hudson.
Yeah,
Kate Hudson.
No, but the mother.
Goldie Hawn
Gave her ski instructor Mercedes-Benz for Christmas.
Oh shit.
They give you cars. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how they roll up there. But it's an evil fucking Ted Bundy was up there. Ted Bundy killed people in Snowmass Village at that hotel.
Really?
Ted Bundy escaped from the Aspen jail. This place has a really weird...
Ted Bundy killed people all the way down in Florida, too, right?
Florida, Colorado, Seattle.
Jesus.
What a dick.
This is a really weird part of Colorado. And I've told you before that in '84, Aspen was the cocaine capital of the country. All that coke was getting shipped up there for all these Hunter Thompson types. Yeah. Jack Nicholson, all these motherfuckers were up there then.
How weird that they all decided to go there.
No TMZ, no cameras, and they could get their dicks sucked. There was a bar called Patty Bugatti's that had a swimming pool right in the middle. So people be fucking pumping. In the middle of a fucking pump, they jump in the pool with their clothes on. That was just crazy. The Aspen Club, fucking, what's his name, had a huge club up there. The guy, what's that? The guy that sings about tequila, Wasted away again.
Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett had a club called the Paragon up there. Biggest bar on the West Coast, like 9 fucking rooms, bro.
Really?
Huge. The Paragon. Over the Paragon were these apartments where the employees stayed. And I became friends with one of the waitresses, and that's why I fainted from a bong hit one time. The bong hit, I fucking fainted. I was sitting on the balcony talking shit. I'll do it. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're waking me up because it's so thin up there. That's where the air is really fucking thin.
We were talking to this guy who lived in Aspen. And he told me he woke up one day and there was an elk on his back porch screaming.
Fuck yeah.
You know how they scream when they're horny, when they're in the rut? This big ass elk was sitting on his porch, clop, 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 just screaming. They said it was like 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. They looked through the curtains and this 1,000-pound animal's like right there behind the glass. Screaming.
Dude, I was in awe when I first moved up there.
Colorado.
But the one that put me over the top was Kablunik's. Kablunik's restaurant was a restaurant. You had to call and make a reservation, and you had to meet him in a certain location and park your car. And then you got on a sled, and dogs pulled you to the restaurant.
Are you serious?
Oh, shit.
I want to go here.
And you had 2 seatings. You had a 7:30 seating and a 9:30 seating. That's how the only way they do it. And then they'd pull you out of there and sledge, mush, and in the daytime.
How far did they take you on the sled?
A couple miles.
Couple miles.
But in the daytime, you go up there and see how they train the dogs. So in the daytime, it became a different tourist attraction. Really cool. And then you go over a place called Independence Pass. Independence Pass is when you think you're a bad motherfucker, because Independence Pass is only open 3 months a year. It's only open from June to second week of September. And it cuts your time from Denver to Aspen by like an hour. But it's only open 3 months because it's a two-lane road that not a lot of people can handle. One time I went down, I had a big, tough friend from Jersey. He sat in the back and ducked and got on the floor. He couldn't handle it. It's that scary, Joe Rogan. Like if you're doing a lot of a car come over, but at the end of Independence Road, on the other side, they had the Black Wolf Inn. And you went in there, you rented a room, and the lady had wolves, black wolves everywhere. And in the
live
morning,
ones?
Live ones. And in the morning, that's what at night, that's all you hear is howl. Woo, woo. She had all the wolves, a black wolf fucking in, dog. I don't know how many times I went in there. That's a great, now it's all chains. Money has really taken over.
Is there a video of that pass, Independence Pass?
Independence Pass.
Is that what they did in The Shining?
No, The Shining is the other place where that's the most visited spot in the country. People think it's the Grand Canyon, but it's really Estes Park, Colorado.
Really?
Because you bend over and they're doing something with that hotel, the Stanley Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best brunch on a Sunday in the country. Like the brunch there is known to be like fucking outrageousness. Where they shot The Shining, you're talking about that.
Yeah.
That's the Stanley Hotel. They're doing something there. They're either going to take that part of the hotel and turning it into a museum for The Shining. They're doing something there.
Well, they're going to make a real maze. You know that
Yes.
the maze of bushes?
right.
They're
Was
going to
that
make a
what you
real
read?
one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to make a real one, just like they did in the movie.
Yeah, take a look at Independence Pass. It's a scary fucking road.
Well, you ever done the PCH all the way up to San Francisco?
Yes.
There's some fucking moments on that
moments
bitch.
on there.
When you look into the right of you and you're like, oh, okay. Especially when you're coming back from San Francisco and you're on the outside.
Sped up, right? Yeah.
No, this is a bird.
This is 82 to Aspen. So I guess you're starting. Wow, it's changed a lot. Look at those fucking trees.
So beautiful, though, man. There's something about mountain views that, to me, is the best view. Like, there's a lot of cool views. Like, the ocean's a really cool view. The meadows are a really cool view. But to me, mountains and trees, there's something about that that's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so natural and powerful. The idea of all these plants growing out of the ground and reaching up to the sky, and they're thick and dense everywhere. You're just surrounded by plant life. And then you look up in the spectacular snow-capped mountains and blue sky and floating clouds and trees. And you know out there is all just wildlife, man. Just fucking
Right here, Joe Rogan.
squirrels,
Here's where it gets scary.
deer. Oh,
This is where it gets scary.
oh.
Right there, where you're fucking. And it gets even thinner at parts.
Yeah, this is you got to trust the other people on the other side of the road. That's the problem. Same thing with the PCH.
It was so wild that here I am. Then I lived there, 83, and then I left back then I went back in 85, and that's when I really got into trouble up there. But it was so weird. amongst all this beauty, there was this fucking cocaine trail.
Look at the right side.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Mount Buchanan. Whoa.
Oh, fuck, man.
You think you'll move back there eventually, Joe? I mean, especially now that you're really big into hunting and stuff. It seems like it'll be more.
I love Denver. I fucking love it. Love it. It's might be my favorite spot. I love it. Every time I go there, I feel like I'm at home. Last time I was there, I had a fucking great time, man. And when I go up like to you could like live in the mountains like near Denver too, like Evergreen, places like that.
So what is this?
It's a half hour away. Just Independence Pass, the whole ride. But every time I go back there, I'm like, yeah, this is probably better. And right now, Denver's booming. It's on fire. They can't control it. Like all the people that didn't want weed to be legal, boy, they got the worst possible results. Massive economic recovery. Housing prices are up 19%. Real estate's up 19%.
I heard rent's crazy
Rents
now.
are crazy.
Rents are crazy. The money is booming. They've made more money in taxes for the first time ever from marijuana than they do from alcohol. No, there's never been a place ever that's done that. They've passed the amount of money they make in taxes from alcohol because they tax it at like 39%. It's smart. They tax the shit out of it, and no one gives a fuck. Good. Who cares? Weed is so economical. If you think about it, like, well, how about one of those weed pens? Those ones that Gino sells. How much do they sell for? It's like $100 or something like that.
I don't even think it's that much.
No? 60?
60, maybe
60, 40, 60.
Okay, whatever it is. And you have these little cartridges. How much are the cartridges? $30 or something like that?
yeah.
Dude, they will last for weeks.
Yeah.
Those got for you, not really.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
That's how I got caught on the plane, though.
You did, yeah. Yeah, you set off the alarm,
I
right?
set off the alarm.
I told you you're going to do that.
And they came in, and they're like, are you smoking? I'm like, do I look like I'm fucking smoking? And she goes, I wonder what set this off. So the whole time, I'm like, they're going to throw me in fucking jail when I get to the airport.
Ooh.
I talked to you about this, like, because he periscoped and did it. Like, he was blowing it up, going, and he's just blowing it up on the plane.
You periscoped on the plane? Joey, that's like a federal offense.
Listen to me. If they didn't catch me, I couldn't smoke in the
They didn't
road.
catch you. You made your own video. You made your own evidence against yourself.
The video's gone. Right.
The ether.
This is when I was with my family, so I couldn't blow the smoke because the side sucks it in, and then Mercy will smell it.
Oh.
So I just got up and went
Mercy
to the
right,
back,
yeah.
and I was fucked. Because listen, let me tell you something.
You know what Hinchcliffe does? Oh, I shouldn't tell you.
Let me tell you something. The fucking those 5-hour flights without edibles are brutal.
You need to get a hold of some spray.
I got everything now. I got all the
okay.
fucking
Don't get angry.
But no,
I just blew it into my
the-
sleeve.
I got the fucking the thing I was going to bring you guys, and I left it on the counter.
Yeah.
But I got up and went to the bathroom.
You got to be careful about saying what they're making. Got to keep it on the DL.
I'm jizzled on the way back.
Jizzled?
Because on the way there, I didn't eat no edibles because I was worried about my kid. But on the way back, I'm like, fuck it, 6 hours with this kid. I need something to calm me down. I went into that bathroom with the iPod on, so I really couldn't hear. And I'm hitting this pipe, and I'm like, I just charged this up. This motherfucker's hitting good. It's fucking smoke everywhere inside this bathroom. And all of a sudden, I can't hear, and I hear, and I see the light going. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I flush. I did piss because I was hitting it while I was pissing. I pissed, and I fucking put it in my pocket, and I open it. I go, what happened? She goes, were you smoking in here? And they're like, it doesn't smell. I go, no. The fucking, I don't know what happened. I banged up against the thing, and they're like,
My farts are so strong. You're setting off smoke detectors.
and I fucking sat down. I thought they were going to throw me in jail. I gave my wife the car keys. Wow. I said, just in case they arrest me on the way out. They even said, thank you for coming on. Your daughter was great. So
Once they realize it's not smoke, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they're offended as much as, like, if you have an e-cigarette. Like, they used to let you smoke those. Remember people used to take those blues on airplanes? They used to smoke them all the time. And then they had to put... They're just going to have to put... They had to figure it out, and they had to come up with laws for that, for e-cigarettes. They're going to have to come up with laws for those fucking hovercrafts. Those little hoverboards.
they're not allowed on.
They're blowing up now. Have you seen
They're
them?
blowing up, so they're not allowed on no more.
Yeah,
That's
Amazon
it. Get these
pulled all of them.
Get these fucking morons off the fucking plane.
Do they let you just drive around those? I have those. They blow up? Should I
They
leave them
blow up.
outside?
Yeah, leave them outside.
It depends if you have
Fuck.
a good version of them, or see the problem is
Mine
there's
is straight out of China.
yeah.
How do you know what's the good version?
The good versions are the ones that actually have like a brand name and stuff, where most of these generic ones are like just the, you know, they're like just generic batteries, generic
I just bought
parts.
it from Amazon. Should I throw them out? Get new ones?
I wouldn't.
Donate them to really risky kids?
I'll take them. no,
Hey,
but
kids, these are fun, but you're taking a chance.
there's
You
some
might
crazy
blow up.
videos that I've been seeing lately of them blowing up just
Yeah.
because of the generic batteries in them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some of them that are better than others, but if you think about how many people have them, there's probably like, it's a very, very small percentage are blowing up, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, they're going to have to figure out how to like regulate them at the airport, because people just ride around in them at the airport.
Yeah.
Like, there's one blowing up, huh? Yeah, but see, we don't know what happened here. That guy could have just lit that bitch on fire. We don't know what the
Well,
fuck
there's
this guy's
ones
doing.
that's like in malls. There's like a
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
one blew up in a mall. That's what I saw.
yeah.
Let me
You
see.
know what else I like about Denver, dog? Those motherfuckers are strapped constantly. You can't even ISIS knows. Like, what about Denver? Ooh.
A lot
They're
of
like those
guns. Yeah.
fucking white people, a little on the crazy side. Now they're smoking that THC. You don't want to take the chance. They might shoot you before the grenade goes off, and your world is going to be fucked up. They're going to put cowboy dick in you and take you up in the mountains and rub maple syrup on you and tie you to a tree and fucking bake you and then stab you to death. I'll see how much you fucking love Allah after that, motherfucker. Because, listen, man, I've told you 1,000 times, there's some real crazy gun-loving Americans in the mountains of Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking, and then they're not malicious, none of those militias. I know good white Americans in Colorado that are waiting at their house right now. They're building weapons to kill fucking Talibans and shit like that. I know them personally. I know one guy, I call him from a fucking throwaway phone, because I know they got the taps on this motherfucker. This guy 20 years ago showed me grenade launchers in his fucking garage. I can't imagine what he's got now. Every time I call, I send him Christmas cards from a different address. I go to like Studio City and mail it to them. I love him. His first name is Fred. That's all I can tell you. This guy
Probably said too much already.
This guy taught me everything about. He was a fucking weapon. I was over there one day just talking. I go, you ever see the movie Scarface? That's a great gun he had at the end. He just looked at me like. He looked at his wife. He goes, do me a favor. Can you go in the other room for a second? She's like, sure. She's like a nice white lady. He's like, I want to show Joey something. This lady got out. He pulled over his couch. And what he had under that couch, the Scarface gun was his littlest gun. Do you understand me? That Scarface gun, that was his fucking appetizer to kill people. This guy had so many things. And he started ratting himself out. That he was in Vietnam. He started showing me the pictures and the ears and the cards, the deck of cards they put on people and all that shit. And I was like, and he's like, if you want to go shoot sometime, I'll take it. And that was the beginning of a friendship, dog. He taught me so many little things. He knew how to fucking kill people he could kill somebody in Mars right now. Like, he just knew. He just knew. He was amazing, the shit this guy knew. You want to kill somebody in Mars? I got the angle. He wanted to fucking, it was just something from another planet, man. He would take me on the weekends. I'd have to buy for my own bullets and shit. But all the other shit we shot, I can't tell you the shit we shot.
There's a lot of gun enthusiasts out there.
A lot of gun. But this
You
guy.
know my big friend Justin?
Yeah.
He don't even know how many guns he has. I go, how many guns you have? He goes, I don't know. And I go, more than 100? He goes, oh, yeah. More than 100.
What about when I hugged the doctor?
Steve? Yeah.
I hugged him one time.
Yeah, he's strapped.
I was like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, yeah, I don't leave nowhere without this fucking
He was in the
suit.
military. He was an Air Force flight surgeon. He doesn't give a fuck. That guy is crazy as fuck. He's been my friend for 27 years, 28
him with
years.
all my heart.
More,
I really
actually
love
more
him
than
with all my
that.
heart.
Shit, how many years? Oh my God. Dude, 30 years. He's been my friend for 30-something years. 33 years. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that guy, he's in his 60s. He gets his body fixed just so he can go back to sparring again. He's in his 60s. Blows his rotator cuff. Well, I'm going to have to get that fixed. Gets it all fucking stitched up. Well, blew my knee out again. Got to get that fixed. He's had more than 20 knee surgeries. He's crazy. Guy doesn't give a fuck.
He's only training with young kids.
He doesn't give a fuck. He'll come after you, too, like a wild dog. He's always been that way. He's always been that way. He was an ophthalmologist when I met him. He was doing his residency in Boston. This guy, I've never met anybody that worked harder. There's a few people in my life that, when I was young, that let me know what hard work really was. Like, I thought I worked hard, and then I'd watch these guys, and I'd just go, fuck. One of them was Steve. Steve was he was an ophthalmologist. He was doing his residency. He was sitting on the toilet, eating food out of a tray, and he fell asleep and his buzzer went off. So he's shitting, eating, and sleeping at the same time, and his buzzer goes off to tell him to go back to work. Because he had, when you're in your residency, you do these insane hours. Like, they're just mind-blowing. And then you're studying, and you just, like, it's chaos. The amount of sleep that they get versus the amount of work that they have to do, it's amazing how that people don't constantly accidentally kill people. Because they're all so tired. Like, it's the weirdest thing about doctors. And I don't know how if they still do it this way, but the way they used to do it, they would make them work these fucking ungodly hours. And you'd always be exhausted. And so you would think you'd want to be wide awake and thinking clearly to make medical decisions, especially about people's vision, right? Nope. All these fucking guys, they make them work insane hours. And the other one was my friend Jungshik Chang. He was a U.S. national Taekwondo champion, and he came from my same gym. And he was the guy who won the championships while he was in medical school. This fucking guy. You want to talk about a guy who worked hard? I never met anybody who worked harder, complained less, got so little sleep. If he slept like 4 hours a night, it was plenty. And he was training for the national Taekwondo team. This fucking guy used to do studying, and in between studying, he would sprint up the stairs in his university and come back down and then sprint. And he would do that, like, he would like read or do his work for a couple hours, and then he would sprint upstairs. Put his backpacks, throw all his books in his back, put his backpack on, and sprint up the stairs. It just did every waking moment dedicated to all the shit that he had to get done, because he came from a Korean background, and Korean parents are some of them super strict about their children succeeding. His father just put all this incredible pressure on him. So when I would think, like, people would say, wow, you work so hard, like, barely. I sleep 8 whole hours a night. Like, these guys, Steve and Jungshik, 2 guys incidentally that were in the medical education. And they both, I never saw anybody work harder. I've never seen anything in my life like that. They would be exhausted. Like, Jungshik would come in, he would come into training, and his mouth would be open like this. He goes, I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired. But then training would start, this fucking guy would, ah! He would fire up and get crazy. He's a bad motherfucker. He would fire up and just start kicking the shit out of people. And he wasn't even like a talented guy. He wasn't like physically talented. He wasn't like some LeBron James, some unusual freak specimen of athleticism.
Just a hard working man.
5'5", 5'6", Korean kid who just didn't take no for an answer. Just didn't fucking take no for an answer, and figured out how to win the national title while he was in fucking medical school. So whenever I was around people that were, that would say, yeah, I work hard. I work too fucking hard. I'm like, damn. I'm not saying that you should work the way those guys did, because I don't think you should. I think that's too much. I think there's a point of, like, you can overtrain, and fighters overtrain. They work out too hard. They come into the fight, and they're exhausted. They just never recovered from their training. But there's something admirable about the ability to do what they did. Like, I don't think you should do it. I don't think you should work that hard, because I think you kill yourself.
I think everybody should get a taste of it, to just know that, bro, we're fucking soft.
Yeah.
We're fucking soft. We're fucking soft.
Well, we do what we have to do.
We were talking about this before. Like, when I went home with Mercy, and I took her to a park one day, I told you, it was cold out. My wife said, put the jacket on her. Fuck no. Take the fucking jacket off, and no gloves either. Let her climb and shit. My wife said, but her hands are freezing. Look at what she's living out there. We're soft.
Yeah.
We're just talking about that. When you go on that ferry, what do you think when that ferry stops in February when it's 10 below in Manhattan? No. And once that sun goes down, it's fucking brutal on that goddamn ferry.
Yeah.
And you just make it work. But we forget sometimes. Listen, man, how hard do you fucking work? How hard do you work when I first met you? You just work smarter now. You still put in the hours. You just work fucking smarter now. When I met you, you used to do news radio and then go to the fucking store and hang with me till midnight. Which ain't no fucking joke, my friend. Couple of Friday nights, you would shoot from 12 or 11, and you wouldn't get out of news radio till 10. And I don't know what you were making on news radio, but the character was you still came down and did your $15 spot. And you'd follow whoever, and you were fucking happy, and that's work ethic. And how many times you talk to a comedian, they tell you things aren't going their way. And you say, okay, what have you been doing lately? And they tell you, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You know how hard work goes into being a top-notch fucking comic? What we just talk about Dave Chappelle being at the store. How old is Ron White? Didn't he follow me the other night at the fucking store?
He's there last
This
night.
is a guy that's a millionaire. You're still fucking out there every fucking night, man.
It's why he's still good.
I look at these fucking kids and they tell me, oh, I'm tired. What fucking tired are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
What fucking tired are you talking about? The first time I slept, and I got no reason why, was when I got locked up at 27. Before that, I wasn't sleep. Sleep. 3 hours here on a couch in between Coke rocks and fucking, you know, whatever. Sleep apnea machine. There was no sleep apnea machine. You just roughed it out then. You know, but now people, oh, I want to do this with my life. You got to put in the fucking hours, you know. I read the Rolling Stone article, you know, and there it showed, you put in the hours, Joe Rogan. It showed a lot, you know, I read that article and I'm like, this is a beautiful article. But there was many ways that didn't show the reasons why I loved you. And that's because of your work ethic. I thought that when you moved to this town, because when I got here, when you moved to this town, you got a TV show. You stopped going to the store. That's the impression I got. He started working harder. He started working harder, man. And that's where I got it from. I finally realized, you know what? When you call down to the store, you got to call in coast to coast. You got to call in Sunday to Sunday. And you got to see what, and if it's 5 nights a week, how many times we leave the store at 3 in the morning, man?
A lot. You know what the big one was, too? You got to be willing to do those non-paid regular spots. A lot of guys don't want to do those non-paid regular spots. You got to show up and wait. And that's how I got passed. It's one of the main reasons why Mitzi passed me. 2 main reasons. One, the Todd. That dude, the Todd. The Todd, he was on MTV. He was one of Paulie's friends. Fucking great guy. That guy was the best. He was so nice. And he said, I'm going to help you. He goes, you're really funny. He goes, I'm going to sit next to Mitzi, and I'm going to laugh while you're on stage. He told me. And he goes, and then one day, he goes, you're going to have a friend that you want to get past. You'll do the same thing. Then that dude, he had a serious problem.
Yeah.
He had a serious mental problem. He had something wrong, like physically with his brain. I don't remember what it was, but it was so depressing to me because, you know, he showed me like great camaraderie, like you know, there's this camaraderie that you have between fellow comics. You know, when you meet someone and they're coming up, like a lot of times you get on Kill Tony, you get these young guys or young girls that are coming up and you go, hey, you want to look at them, like, you're really funny. Like, keep this up, man. You could do this. You're really funny. And when you run into people that connect you like that hook you up like that, like he sat down next to Mitzi and he's like, holy shit. Just laughed it up, hammed it up. And the audience was laughing too. So Mitzi was like, you're passed. Come here. You're passed. You're now paid regular. You can call in on Monday. That was, to me, that was way bigger a deal than even getting a TV show. I was already on a TV show. The TV show wasn't shit. I was like, I'm at the store. I made it. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in at Mecca. That was, when we were open micers, that was the spot. There was only one spot. It was Mecca. There was the Catch a Rising Star in New York. There was the comic strip in New York. There was all these clubs, you know, that we all knew about. The Laugh Stop in Houston, where Kinnison came from. We all knew about all these good spots that you're supposed to go to. Zany's in Nashville was always a spot that people would talk about. But there was one Mecca, you know?
It's funny because I talked about this last week, and this is something that, again, wasn't in the interview you did. You know, all right, so I got funny in 2000, and then I got a few movies.
You got funnier before that,
and
man.
then I got stuck, and then you got stuck, and then I had to talk with somebody. I got to tell you, I had to talk with the black dude who used to teach me One Hop Kwendo. Okay? As silly as this was, you know, One Hop Kwendo is an offshoot of Kempo. It's Hawaiian, and this was the Cascus. What's his name? Dacascos?
Mark Dacascos?
This is his father's first student from Denver. These 2 black guys didn't fuck
Was
around.
this in here? Or
Here. I learned here. And he was saying that, you know, he does this thing. And he goes, I really started getting into martial arts when I started teaching.
Yeah.
He goes, that's the complete different story. And he goes, did you ever consider teaching stand-up? And I was like, fuck, who would listen to me? And I went home. I thought about what he was saying to me. When we got to the store, when I got to the store, you know, the first week I became a regular. Like the 3rd night, I got into a fucking beef. And I can name 4 times I got into beefs with those older jealousy-type comics.
Oh, there was a bunch of those.
And you had it,
first
and
came
we're not going to
around.
say none. The one time in the main room, one time, oh shit, with the glass in the fucking original room when there was no booze. The guy broke the bottle, okay?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that. Then you had Charlie Hill. who would fucking pull you aside and go, hey man, I had belly laughs when you were on stage, and I hang in with it. I know you're having a hard time here. I know it's, 1:35 in the morning and you're going up, but it's going to pay off for you. Alan Stevens put me in fucking Arliss opposite James Coburn, my idol. We were just talking one day, and he goes, you really like James Coburn? He's scheduled to do Arliss. I'm going to get you on it. Dog,
Wow.
You know what that does to your insides. But you had these scumbags, and I remember, again, I thought to myself, I'm never going to ever do something with this. But if I ever do, I'm going to be nice to these kids.
Yeah.
When I go to the store now, it's hugs with the young kids. It's all encouragement. I get in and out of there. I don't want to be that old pervert or that old guy that's giving advice. No. I look in the eye, put my hand down, and I say, hey, man. No, seriously.
You held court the other day in the fucking, I got a short video. I put it up on YouTube where you were talking about Guns N' Roses. Well, I put it up on Instagram. There's a short video. But when you were in the back, by the back bar, holding court the other night, it's this camaraderie there.
It's this
that
thing.
wasn't there when we came.
When we came up. So I made it, and you know what I'm going to tell you something? It's made me 100% better comic.
Oh, yeah.
100. Being, Tony, those young door guys, you know how hard it is to be a door guy and sit there and say hello to people. And in your heart, you want to do the same thing. Guys, I don't know how many times I went home at night, 5 years into comedy, I cry myself to sleep. I'd circle Just for Laughs. Remember Just for Laughs?
Sure.
The newspaper? And the back page was all the clubs. And I would sit there and circle the clubs that I was someday going to perform at. The Seattle Underground, the Punchline in Atlanta, the Last Stop. What was the other one? What was the one where Ralphie fell through the stage?
That's real?
Yeah, that's a true story. The stage was, that club was legendary in Houston, way before the Last Stop. The other, where the Houston Improv moved
there's
to,
another one.
That was the fucking great name. There were just clubs that had names, like the insignia for Seattle was a building, the Seattle thing, and it was turned. And I'm like, one day I'm going to fucking play there. And then after 3 minutes between the cocaine and who the fuck I was deep down inside, I would just break down into tears and go, I'm never going to be good enough to play those clubs. Why would I say that to myself? This is just a fucking pipe dream. I'm not doing this shit. So now to be up there with these guys. The other night, Joe Rogan, I almost went home. Do you know that? Joey Diaz, the old Joey Diaz, when Adam came over and said, hey, man, you mind if Chappelle goes up? I said, fuck no. Before you? I said, fuck no. The old Joey Diaz would have got fucking insulting me, putting Dave Chappelle on, like if I was somebody. And I'd get in my car and leave. Years ago, I would just leave.
Right.
Fuck you. I was like, no, man, Joe Rogan wouldn't leave. He'd fucking sit it out and get up there. And Joe, I had such a fucking good time the other night watching Chappelle. Like, I learned something, man. But this thing we're going through isn't about podcasts. It isn't about nothing right now. It's about, I did the Belly Room last night. Last Wednesday. Oh, my God. 11:15, the Dollar Show.
Yeah.
The Dollar Show. Sold out. That night, I told you I couldn't do yours, but I could do the late one. I left there feeling like I won the Academy Award because I helped these young kids. Like, I made these young kids.
Right.
They hugged me. They offered me weed. You know that waitress sucks dick. Like that. I don't know.
Right.
It made me feel. I didn't take no money. I didn't get $15. It wasn't about that, man.
Right.
It was about doing something with these young guys, and these young guys looking at you differently. And letting them know that, hey, man, I ain't no better than you. And someday you're going to be way better than me. I just watched your set. You're a writer, man. You're a bad motherfucker. That has made me a way better comic than doing open mics and because now I see it from a different angle. I love comedy again. I love watching it. But I like watching the young guys at the store. There's some fucking goofy, fucking
Well, don't
funny
you feel
white
like
guys.
the whole attitude of that place feels different?
Fuck yeah.
Way better, right? I think that's the internet. I think that's a big, like the crop of guys that were coming in, the new crop over the last 10 years, they're coming in for the right reasons.
I love you with all my heart, but you're making it sound too good. They got rid of the shitheads up there. Okay?
Is that too?
Let's eliminate the internet. You're a sweet guy,
that too?
and that's why I love you to death. But let's be honest. They got rid of the pure shit up there. The pure shit tape came into that store, and they're no longer there. There's such shit, they won't even show their faces no more because we called them out on it. They turned something beautiful into shit That was our fucking home. That was our camaraderie. That was my base. That was everything to me, man. That was everything to me. And one day some fucking guy came in and some fucking dumb comic started putting shit in his fucking head, and that motherfucker don't go to a comedy store no more. And let's get out of the way. Caparulo, suck my dick. That's what you get for being a cunt all your fucking life. That's what you get. You and Tommy can both suck my dick. Merry Christmas. And don't let me see you at the store no more, Caparulo. You fucking faggot. Motherfucker.
Oh, my
little
goodness.
punk ass bitch. He threw all of us under the bus, bro. I found out about a ton of shit. Fuck that motherfucker. That's why I woke up one day and put it on Twitter. You're a cunt. And that same night I had to put him up in the main room, and he froze when he saw me. Then he had to follow you, and he was calling the fucking club to tell him not to put you up, to wait till he got there. So when I found that out, that was it. Every time I see him at the store, I just glare at him. I'm going to get fucking, what's his name? The kid with the diabetes. That's crazy.
How do you know that for sure?
Because I find out little fucking things. I know everything, cocksucker. That's my job, okay? That's my job. You don't see him down there no more. What's that expression? You won't be seeing him no more when they go to Michael Corleone, when he's making the thing. Hey, what happened with Paulie? And the fat guy looks at him and goes, you won't be seeing him no more. And Sonny looks at him and goes, okay. And he dips the bread in the sauce. It was Tommy. Now he did a podcast with Skagel. Did you listen to that psycho?
Oh, I was
fucking moron.
I was
on
the
there.
following
That
podcast.
Fucking psycho. That's what the problem is. These fucking psychos have taken over clubs, and they give clubs a bad name. And then you don't want to play that club no more. The Comedy Store is the best club in the fucking universe. There's Martians up there in Mars planning a fucking visit just to go to the Comedy Store because there's something about it. Even with those old guys, when we were going there was something about it. We had each other, bro. We had each other. We had a little thing, and Dice used to sit on the stairs and crack jokes, and Barris and all those guys. Don Barris, who does he fucking insult? Nobody. Don Barris is the salt of the Comedy Store after midnight. There's just certain people that have made the Comedy Store.
He insults you? Is that what you saying?
What?
Jamie was saying him. He insults him. Oh,
No. This is what really happened at the store. You put a bunch of shithead fucking comics at a great place, and they poisoned it for years. And look at the energy of the store now. The proof is in the pudding. I'm not talking nothing out of line here. I'm not saying nothing out of line here. Tommy's gone. Cap is gone. That's it. The store is fucking beautiful. You had a couple of dismal guys that would sit there every night throwing fucking witchcraft on all the good comics. Fuck you. I hope you bomb. I hope he doesn't make it so I can get a stupid Fallout set. They're all fucking gone. That old wood that would sit there and you get in a spot tonight, man, I wish Joe Rogan was my friend, making little remarks. They're all gone. It's over. It's a positive comedy fucking haven now. I only go down there 3 times a week out of respect because I don't want to be that old pervert guy sitting around with the waitresses talking to young comics. I'm a comic. I go get my workout, I get in my car, and I leave. I'd love to be able to hang out there for 2 hours, but I can't. But the other night, Ari was there. We were giggling in the hallways. Look at what happened the other night. What did we start this podcast with? Chappelle, goofing on Steve Renazizi and Ari, and they all had a great fucking time.
I guess everybody did 9/11 jokes to Steve Renazizi.
Yeah, it was brutally hilarious.
Wish I was there for that. That is so funny. It's good that he's taking it on the chin like that.
Yeah,
though.
he's a great guy, and it happens, and you make mistakes, and that's it. But the point is, we're fucking back. We're back as comics.
We're better. It's better than ever.
As comics.
It's better than ever, that place.
No shitheads
Right?
go up there. I think shitheads go in, and there's a force now. That's an anti-shithead fucking force, and it keeps them out. And that's the truth, man. That's the fucking truth. Everybody's super cool up there. The other night, I was starting to get a mini anxiety attack. Do you know that? No edibles, no nothing. I was starting to get a mini anxiety attack, and as I was walking to the stairs at the store, I heard honey, and I looked, and it was Sarah Tiana with a hat on, and my anxiety went away, bro. They just gave me a different twist.
She's so nice.
She's the best.
She's such a nice person. She's so nice. Every time you're around her, she's so kind. She's a sweetheart, you know?
And don't cut what I said out. What I say,
no
I'm
cutting
saying, and because, dog, I'm
can't cut
52.
out.
I got one foot in the grave, one in the banana peel. I don't give a fuck if somebody gets mad at me. You know what I'm saying? I'll call Yo Romero to fucking handle things for me now at this age.
Yeah, I don't know. When I see Cap, I say hi and I like him and I give him a hug. I don't know what the fuck happens behind the scenes, but he's always nice to me.
Yeah, same here.
Deep down inside, he wishes you fucking get hit by un avion, a helicopter.
I was watching last night. last night I was watching Jimmy Schubert do magic tricks. And by the way, an amazing magician.
He started as a magician.
Yeah.
He was a magician for years.
But he said that he also he grew up starting it doing comedy and magic like you kind of did also. Did you know that he also did that? Or?
I only did it for like a little while when I was about 8. Yeah, I got a magic set like for Christmas. You know, like it teaches you how to do a few stupid tricks. And I did a little show on Fisherman's Wharf. I did it a couple of times.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah, I would just set up a box, and then people would give me money. And then I'd go buy comic books. But I did it one time, and these fucking older kids fucked with me. They kind of like gave me a hard time, and I got scared. So I stopped doing it. They just mocked me and were goofing on me, and I was like, oh, well, nothing I can do here. I was like, 8. They were probably like young teenagers, like 13 or something like that, and they were mean. So I was like, all right. I got scared, stopped doing it. But it was a weird thing if nobody tells you that you can't perform, I would go there and I'd watch these people put on shows. They had all kinds of different shows. People just do street performance. So I was like, I'll try this. Fuck it, I got my magic trick thing. I had a hat, little magic hat. I had a cape by myself. 8.
It's ridiculous.
Set up this fucking thing. Set up this little
Hilarious.
terrible magic tricks. Awful at it, but just banking on the fact that I was cute, hoping people would give me money.
I got the kit too with the ball, and you put it in it, and like a little wand. I got it too, but I gave up.
Yeah, stupid.
I couldn't do that shit. It was tough. But no, I appreciate magic. I like it if it's done well.
His Schubert's magic. I mean, he was bomb ass wasted, so you could tell he was a little sloppy, but his magic was legit. Like it was to the point where he had 4 cards down there, and we just saw like 1 second ago what cards they were, and then he would turn them over like in front of us, going, "What the fuck? Oh, that's impossible! How did you do that?" Like his magic was legit.
At Gabriel's Christmas party, he had a magician there, and the motherfucker came up to me. I was eating. By the way, Lucille's Barbecue in Long Beach, they ain't fucking around, dog. Those baby back ribs were stronger than that.
Really?
So magician came, and he showed me and Steve Simone the card.
You got to get up on that microphone.
He showed me and Steve Simone the card, and then he went like this, and he did something, and he told the lady over there, take out your sleeve. The card was in her fucking sleeve. I can't figure out
What
how
the
the fuck he
fuck?
did this shit.
She worked for him.
Just no. He was some fucking manager or something stupid. It was fucking crazy.
I don't know how the hell they do it.
I don't know how they do it.
There's some craziness going on with some of these magicians. The sleight of hand and the way they figure out how to set things up. It's an art. It's an art. They don't tell you either. They don't want to tell you. We had a guy on he bent a spoon in front of us. I'm like, I don't know, how the fuck is this guy doing this? He's bending a spoon with like the air. He's like moving his finger around it, and the spoon starts to bend and twist. It's like, I don't know how the fuck he's doing it. I don't know how he's doing it. But he's letting you know, like, there's a trick to it. I'm not going to tell you how I do it, but it's just a trick. And they've figured out how to do it in a way that your eyes don't catch. Like, there's a lot of the movements they do when they're shuffling the deck and moving cards around. Like, your eyes just are not catching the fluidity of their movement. They get so good at it, they can just hide the cards. And you don't even see it. You're like, okay, what happened? And all of a sudden, the card's on top of his hat. And like, where the fuck? Like, you didn't see it.
You ever see a good pickpocket, dog?
Yeah.
You ever,
only in videos, not in person.
No, when you played pool, you ever see people who pickpocket people for a living?
They bump into you.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And when they do it in teams. Have you watched that movie Focus? Yeah?
No.
Not an Academy Award winning movie. Anybody see Focus?
What is Focus? Which one's that?
Focus is Will Smith and some blonde chick, and they run a scam of going to like New Orleans for the Super Bowl, and how it goes down, and they take everything they shoplift, everything they fucking thing, and it goes on eBay. So let's say they steal, fucking brilliant. And this is how it works, guys. They bump into Red Band, because my friend's mom used to do it. They bump into Red Band, they take it, they take just the credit cards, they put the wallet back. They have people at restaurants that when they take your wallet, when you give your credit card to the people, they take it and they have a thing, and they go like this, then they sell it back to Will Smith. So at the end of the day, Will Smith has all these credit cards. Now he starts buying stuff online. Bam, 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 bam. Then they get it, then they put it on eBay, and they sell it at a third of the cost, and that's how people get all that shit.
Right.
And it just went, but forget about all that. Dog, do me a favor, watch the motherfucking movie for the scene. There's a scene they do where he bump. You ever see that little Chinese guy that plays gay on SVU? He always comes in, and the child.
Yeah.
The child suffers from a dementia.
He's been in a lot of shows,
Dog,
a lot of movies.
Dog, watch him in this movie. One scene. They do like a gamble. He's like the world's biggest gambler. He bets on anything. Like he'll bet on anything. Like all you gotta do is entice him, and the whole hustle. But when this guy's doing it, they play sympathy for the devil, and you're thinking the movie's taking you somewhere else. You're like, this motherfucking Chinese guy's the devil. Because he's so smooth, Joe. He plays the obnoxious Asian that's filthy rich, has a sports box, and the fucking 3 hot young fucking Asians waiting for him to suck his dick. And everybody's drinking Dom or whatever, even better than Dom. And he's brash and shit. He's one of the...
Yeah, that
right
dude.
there. Right.
What is his
Look
name?
at that motherfucker. Right there. Look at that motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
God damn, he was good in that movie.
What is his name, Jamie? Find his name.
Look at the young freak.
Backwards Hitler.
Look at the young freak waiting for him. Look, he had 10 of them waiting for him. Big old cigar. Bro, this guy breaks it down. And then the movie ends after that. After that, you're just watching fucking garbage.
Focus, huh?
Focus.
Is it in theaters? Netflix?
I watched it on
What
a
is it?
plane, and I fucking got hooked on that scene. I had to take it home and show my wife. She was like, Jesus, he's fucking good.
B.D. Wong. That guy's been in everything.
Where's he from? San Francisco.
Francisco.
Yeah. He's 60. No, he's 50.
55.
He's 55?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
He's got that Asian gene.
God damn, they look so much better than regular white people.
They're better models.
At 55, there's not a 55-year-old white guy alive that looks like Irish guy? Jesus Christ. That's like the polar opposite. Chinese and Irish. Like who ages
Is B.D.
better?
Wong Chinese? Let's not insult the fucking guy. Yeah, he's
Wong, I
Wong
think, is Chinese.
San
I
Francisco.
think so.
He fits the motherfucking bill.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's a bad motherfucker. He's been in a lot of movies.
Did you see
He's
the
been around
movie
a long time.
Tangerine? Do you know anything about it?
No.
Tangerine is a movie that it's all filmed on iPhones. And,
I heard about that. They just won an award. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I was on Shroom, so I didn't know what my friend was just like, let's watch this, and I guess it's about transsexuals, and out of nowhere Ian Edwards pops up out of the movie and I'm just like, what the fuck? Why is Ian in here? And it's a really good movie because what they did is they took real transsexuals from LA that like hang out at donut time at 3 a.m, like in West Hollywood, and then they mix it with actors, and so it's got this like documentary type. Wait, is this real people? Kind of. It's an interesting movie though. So, but Ian Edwards is in it. So
Don't fuck me up. It's not donut time. It's Yum Yum Donuts on Santa Monica and motherfucking Highland. I used to get stuck at that light all the time when I used to go to Weight Watcher meetings. So you go there, like I used to go to a 9 o'clock Weight Watcher meeting, so I had to be there like by 8:40. And I get stuck there Sunday mornings, and I look to my left, bro, and there'd be 3 hot motherfucking bitches. And that little freak of us, like, maybe she's a hooker. She'll suck my dick for $40. And all of a sudden, they look at you. And that's how you could tell they're heavy-duty trannies, bro. You just step on that fucking gas.
Well,
You
the
gotta see
difference
'em
is
there.
in the eye contact. The male transgender people make eye contact with you, like the transgender hookers. They make eye contact. They look right at you. Whereas like female hookers, they'll kind of look in your direction. Like,
Now, does a transgender hooker have a dick?
depends.
These-
they can or
yeah.
they don't have to. Like they might have had the operation, or they might never get the operation. They still consider themselves a woman,
But they have
even
boobs,
if they have a dick.
so they have tits
Yeah.
with a dick.
They have tits with a
Okay.
dick, and they still consider themselves a woman, and they get hard-ons. So figure that out. There's pictures of like a lot of them of ones that are completely erect, fully woman, like woman's ass, woman's legs, woman's waist, woman's breast, woman's face, dick, hard dick. So confusing.
it makes no sense anymore.
It's like, what are you? I don't know. I mean, you can be whatever you want, but what are you? How does that work? I mean, I'm not sure what's going on here. You say she, but yeah, you have a dick, but you're allowed to. You're just allowed to like be whatever you want. If you're a girl with a dick, then that's that. It's just confusing.
It's too crazy for me to even comprehend. Like, I don't fucking know what to even think anymore.
I'm for whatever what everybody wants to do.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
had
I
a friend
mean,
in
if you-
Seattle that was very cool. She was
Yeah.
a trans. She did the whole operation. She was a comic. I told you, but the problem was her head was too big. See, that's where you fuck up right there. that if you make the transgender, they cut your dick and they do all the other things, and your feelings change, but your head remains the same. So her balance was off. I'm not kidding you. I'm not lying to you. Her name was something.
So her head was too big for her
she
neck?
She was half Japanese, half some Rita O. Rita O, whatever she was. Rita O or whatever. And she ended up dying because she would fall. And bang her head. Because her head was too fucking big. Yeah.
I remember that story.
That's the only one I really had, you know.
Remember the one we met in Vegas?
Yeah.
The one we met in Vegas where she kept showing it to us?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We didn't even know. She was so tiny. She was so tiny you would never suspected she used to be a dude.
Joe Rogan, I don't know nothing. I don't know how old women are. I don't know nothing. I was at the mall the other day getting a picture with Santa Claus, and there's these young girls with tight pants on and heels. And I'm like, Terry, why are these women taking pictures of Santa Claus? Terry's like, they ain't women. Those are 15-year-old fucking girls. They were women in my, I don't know. I couldn't fucking tell. I can't tell, man.
Jared said the same thing.
Who? No, fuck Jared. I don't.
Do you think that? I mean, do we just not remember it right, or do girls look different now when they're 15 than they did when we were 15?
Way different.
Are you sure though?
Yes, because they're now showing side boob in like at young ages. They
Yeah,
didn't
but
do that
some
when we were
girls-
young.
Some girls had bodies even back then. Like you remember in high school, girls had boobs. I mean, there was girls that were 15 that had boobs for sure.
But they were also wearing underwear and not using Hitachis and looking at porn. You know, they were
What?
like when we grew up. These girls were like, if they
No, I'm
dressed
saying
cute,
do they look different physically? That's what I'm saying. Like, are they more mature early? Do they look like women earlier? Is that true, or is it just the way they're dressing?
I'm so fucking confused. I can't lie to you, man. Listen, when I was 18, I didn't dig 18-year-old women. So when I was 27, I didn't dig young women. They just make me nervous. They make me fidgety. Now, I just started getting comfortable. The reason why I go in the back and sit by the waitresses is because I always feel embarrassed. I want everybody's eye on me. I don't want no misunderstandings that fucking I touch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I hate when I was, listen, when I was 20 and I go to a bar and I was snorting and having a good time, I'd see a 30-year-old at the bar, I'd get fucking pissed. Like, look at this punk-ass bitch at the bar. You're too old, guy. Go home. You know, never mind a 40 or 50-year-old. My blood pressure really goes up. When I was like fucking 20, if I saw a 50-year-old dancing on a disco, oh, my fucking, why is he here? Why? I couldn't figure it out. That stayed with me for the rest of my life. So when I got to be 27, I already felt out of place in most places. Like, I was like, these people are looking at me like I'm here to do something bad. Never mind now. And you got these young comics like Joey, and they come and hug you, and I'm fucking lost. I'm like, listen, I can't do it. I just feel weird. I feel too old at the store. I feel old at the store. Do you know that? Like ashamed. So I just go.
That's so weird.
I sit on the freezer. I don't bother nobody.
But why do you feel like that?
I feel that.
Oh, my God, because I was opposite that shit when I was 20.
Yeah, but it's a different thing now. Like I feel like when you go there, it's just a nice group of people that we all like.
Oh, no.
We all
listen,
love
I
the
know
wait
that.
staff,
I fucking
the
love
management,
those people.
the bartenders, the comics.
I love those people with all my heart.
But why would you feel like you're too old to hang around
Dog,
there?
that night, you were like, sometimes I'm driving out and the waitresses will come out and go, can you give me a ride up the hill? Because they make the waitresses park all the way up in hell. You
Like
see
by
them?
Crest Hill? Like that?
Dog, all the way up there.
Oh,
Like I'm
that
giving
sucks.
waitresses, and I just
And they
drive.
walk down?
Yeah, they walk down, and I'll drive the waitresses up the hill with both hands on the steering wheel, like looking straight ahead. Like when they're like, "Good night," I'm like, "Good night." Get out of the fucking car. I don't want no fucking problems. You know, but what can you tell a waitress? I'm not going to give you a ride.
Right. How
you
rude.
feel like a fucking idiot. But sometimes
Right.
they're like, "You're leaving, Joey? Can you give me a ride up the hill?" And you're like, "Okay."
Right.
And all that stuff, bro, bothers me. Like I can't. I just can't. Last night on the way back from fucking Ventura, I can't lie to you. This is Christmas, right? I said maybe there's a strip club. I haven't been to a strip club in 20 fucking years with Eddie. Last time I went to a strip club was with Eddie when we went down to Eddie's place. What was that? 201?
Yeah, probably.
2000?
Right.
That's the last time I've been to a strip club. I'm a fucking animal of a man. I don't even go to strip clubs. Last night I said maybe I should go to a strip club. But it was between strip club, hungry, and getting gas. I went, got gas, and I went home and had a piece of fucking cheese, and I went to bed, dog. I'm scared of strip clubs, Joe Rogan. Petrified. Did I go in a strip club? I don't know.
Go to Jumbo's.
Well, hold on. What are you scared of?
I don't know, Joe. I'm just scared, man, of crazy women at my age. I'm scared of crazy fucking women, man.
Are you scared that you would like them?
I like everybody. I love women. When you get that, when you get to be 50, you look at like 30-year-olds and go, Jesus Christ.
Just a baby.
Yeah, that's just a fucking babe. Like, she doesn't even know how good that pussy is right now. She has no fucking idea. It's just so weird. So I don't know what a 14-year-old looks like or supposed to look like.
Well, I don't remember. That's the problem.
Oh,
I don't accurately remember what they looked like when I was 14 compared to what they look like today.
I'm pretty sure their bodies were exactly the same. We're just seeing more of it because we're seeing sluts. Like, they look like porn stars nowadays, at 14, where that wasn't the case back then. It was,
Yeah, it seems like there's definitely an influence where they're like the pop culture, like the Nicki Minaj stick your ass out look and all the Kim Kardashian
the young
stuff.
sister. The young one.
Definitely the
Young
Kardashians.
sister?
It's the Kardashians.
Yeah,
They
well, but them for sure.
Kendall, that's the name.
yeah.
What has she done that every day she's on my Yahoo page?
She's hot.
Why is she on my Yahoo page every day with some young black skinny kid?
She's
It's
a Leo.
all confusing.
Now there's Kendall, and what's the other
It's
one?
all confusing. It's all the whole thing. There's a gang of them. Kylie.
You
is that
know,
what it is?
I was thinking
That's
about
what I was
something
thinking of,
though.
Kylie.
Let me tell you something. I ain't mad at the fucking sister no more. I ain't mad at that fucking dirty whore. I ain't mad at that bitch no more. You know what, man? She picked a loop. She pitched it. I read the article about her fucking app the other day. She was making $1 million an hour or something like that.
She broke the Apple
I can't
Store.
be mad at her, man. She's made it. That's the American dream. How can I be mad at that? How can I be mad at that? She found a niche. She showed her pussy one time. She hasn't showed it anymore. It's not like she shows her pussy every 3 weeks. She made a tape, and she found a window. A little fucking window. Do I like it? Do I want to hang out with her and Kanye fucking North, whatever? No. I don't want to hang out with those people. But let's give credit where credit is due, man.
Well, she's the best ever at reality TV. That family is the best ever at reality TV. They figured out how to corner the market, to lock it down. Every scandal makes the show better. Like, there's some people that did reality TV and they got pretty famous, like John and Kate +8. Dust in the wind.
What about the blonde chick that has the black boyfriend and he fucked a transvestite and they got back together? She's one of Hef's girls or something like
well,
that.
there's a bunch of them. But, like, the John and Kate +8, they were giant. There was a giant show. It was like all over the news,
But there was a Christian
all over
ones?
the magazines. Yeah,
Okay.
they had artificial insemination, and she had fucking 6 babies inside of her. It was insane. Well, they broke up, and they didn't survive the scandal. But these people, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter who they marry. It doesn't matter who gets divorced. It doesn't matter who decides they're a woman. It doesn't matter who decides they're a man. It doesn't matter. It's just like the show keeps going. They figured out a way that it's the right frequency of editing, of like real relatable drama, and people that are just, they look good. And they squeeze it all together in this crazy semi-fake show where it's not really a reality show. You can call it a reality show, but they set up every scenario. It's obvious. So it's almost like semi-scripted. So it's this weird show, and these people, they're just famous for being famous.
She fucking wakes up in the morning and she looks at a thing and she'll ask Kanye, like, who's trending on whatever?
Yeah.
Who's trending? Ronda Rousey. Watch this. Bam! Within 5 minutes, she's trending #1. She goes to trend #1 on Google. And if you're trending #1 on Google, you're selling shit. She's selling blouses and hairdos and Armenian dust and eye wax remover and fucking, whatever the fuck. Those Armenians have some fucking heavy-duty pussy hair. Those Armenians, those Middle Eastern chicks, you got to shave that pussy 3 times with a double-edged razor and shit. She got that Armenian hair, dog. Yeah, that's Armenian hair. You ain't cutting that with a scissor. Good luck.
How did Stanhope describe Asian pussy hair? There was something like rat whiskers. How did he describe it? Wiry. I forget how he described it. I'm fucking it up.
That's funny. You don't think there's anything that could kill that whole thing? Like, I mean, Cosby, you would never have thought like something could take down Cosby. You think double Cosby could take down Kardashian? Is anything?
What does that mean, double Cosby? What are you saying?
Something that is so bad that could kill the
What's
brand?
worse? It's hard to think. You'd have to be like double what he did is almost like murder.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to murder
That's coming,
somebody.
right?
No, not necessarily. Look, why? They haven't done anything wrong. Like, you think of what they've done. Like, you could hate the show for sucking. You could say it's boring and mindless, but so what? So is most shit that's on TV.
I've never watched it, actually.
Just sometimes I want to. I think they set up Lamar Odom. But they sent a bad batch of pussy to Lamar Odom. He went in there.
I think he couldn't handle the pressure.
Who, Lamar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him
his
freak out? He went after a photographer once.
His mother-in-law cut his deal, and she got Laker tickets, season tickets for the rest of her life.
Jesus Christ.
That's the deal she cut, though.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's like, it ain't a good show. You know, it's not something I want to spend my time watching. But why so mad?
I've watched it 10 times on the road. It's on E! And you watch it, and it's not entertaining, and she doesn't amuse me.
But here's my question. Why is it, like, more offensive when something's not entertaining and it's quote-unquote reality, like semi-scripted? Why does that bother us, whereas a show where you're making shit up entirely, it's totally scripted and it sucks, doesn't bother you? Like, there's a lot of shows that suck. There's a lot of, like, hour dramas that are fucking terrible. You tried to watch and be like, oh, my God, what is this shit? But it doesn't offend you. It doesn't get you angry. Like, people see that show, like, all the reality, air quotes, about it, all the nonsense, and you're like, why is anybody watching this? This is crazy. And so they get mad. They get mad at that show, but they don't get mad at scripted shows. It's very strange.
It's because those people are being themselves.
Yeah, but so what?
And so they're real people.
I know, sort of, but they're not. You know, it's all caricatures. It's the
real
whole thing
people
is
doing fake shit.
Yeah, but it's like, who cares? Like, why do we care? But we do. We get upset because they're not doing anything special. It's not like you should go see Cirque du Soleil, and they're doing handstands with one hand, and they got someone standing on their feet doing a handstand on this guy, and there's like 3 people, and they're stacked, and they all look shredded like superheroes. Like, holy shit! You watch them flip through the air and catch each other and do all that crazy shit. It's undeniable that they put a crazy amount of work into achieving this. But when you watch these people just be themselves and make more money than anybody who's ever lived.
Yeah, people don't seem to care anymore. Like, I mean, look at you have all the YouTube stars. They're like just mindless people talking that half of the time they don't have any talent. They're just like pretty much rehashing people's jokes or ideas and thoughts and making tons of money. And YouTube's, you know, branding them as their YouTube stars. But like that's really popular, and that's kind of like a Kardashian. It's not like it's fake shit. People doing fake shit.
Now, how long has that show been on TV? Because I'm on
It's been on forever. It's been on forever. They're going to go back in the history. They're going to find out that it was never not on the air. That it's actually like they used to do it by fire.
And what
they
does
did
she
shadow
make?
shows back in the fucking 1600s.
What does she make a year?
Who knows? Hundreds of millions of dollars,
Jamie,
probably.
what does she make a year?
Jamie knows for sure. But my point is that, like, I think it's a demonic show, and it's probably been here since the beginning of time, and we just pretend. We get sucked into a trance. Like, it just started, like, a few years ago, right? We don't remember. It's one of those, like Twilight Zone episodes. We'll realize one day, it's always been here, boy. That show's always been here. And like, you start remembering yourself as a child, waking up, looking out of your crib, and Keeping Up with the Kardashians is on TV, and it doesn't even make any sense, because it's from a totally different era. But you remember it throughout your whole life when no one was around. Keeping Up with the Kardashians was on some fucking strange phantom channel out there. You just had to figure out how to tune it in. It's always been there, Joey. It's always been there.
It seems like that, doesn't it?
No. No, I'm high as fuck.
I can't believe that even the
Making
guy
shit
with
up.
the fucking...
Bam! 52 million. Hi-ya! Whoosh! Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money. She looks odd.
Oh, yeah, dog. She's done. She's done. Like,
That is
she's plastic surgeon herself.
Something's
all the way.
going on. You look different. She still looks beautiful. She's still beautiful. A gorgeous woman. No doubt about it, right? She's goddamn beautiful. Look at her face. Beautiful, classic face structure, beautiful lips, beautiful eyes. But she looks odd.
Can we see some butt pics, though?
Let's just stop. We don't need to stare at this poor girl.
You know, I was telling you...
You know, but why is it so offensive? It is, though.
What's
it is to a lot of
offensive,
people.
her?
But she doesn't do anything wrong.
No.
Like, she's not. She's like, I say 100 times more stupid shit than she does. She's like, she seems like a nice person.
Kanye's awesome. I like Kanye.
He says some stupid shit, but what fucking super talented young Uber celebrity doesn't say stupid shit? I mean, that guy's driven like, he's like, there's certain like types of driven. It's like superstar type driven. That's what that guy is. He's got that superstar type drive. Those guys they always have problems with people. They're always mad at someone. They're always mad at the press, mad at this guy or that guy. They're just these bundles of fury and inspiration and ideas, and they just don't always manage it correctly. mean, that's why he came out with that song about assholes and douchebags. Remember that song that he came out with after he did the Taylor Swift thing? Let's hear it for the assholes. Jamie knows it. This is his phone ring. If you call him right now, we'll hear it.
Do you know, if I tell you guys something? I don't know one Kanye song.
Oh, yeah,
How
you do.
sad is
Gold
that?
Digger? You know that Gold Digger song.
Yeah, that one I know.
That's a badass jam.
With Jamie Kennedy, what's his name?
Yeah, no.
Jamie, whatever.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, Kennedy.
That's a great fucking song.
Well, I know that one, but nothing else. Like Black Jesus.
Oh, let me tell you this before I forget. Jamie Foxx, you have to listen to Jamie Foxx on the Tim Ferriss podcast. Holy shit. Tim Ferriss got together with Jamie Foxx and did some epic, crazy long podcast where Jamie Foxx breaks down his showbiz experiences. It's fucking amazing. Jamie Foxx is one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time. When you hear just how he organizes parties, he would get to parties, he goes, you know what, how we do it? We just do it. Everybody's cool. That's all I want. And no assholes. No one's a dick. I call people up, no haters. Everybody's cool. You're cool. He's cool. Everybody's cool. We get some bomb-ass bitches. We get some girls that are hot, but they're not stuck up. They're friendly and not too slutty. Just right there, the perfect mix. And you get this perfect mix. And he's talking about all these artists that he has come over. And he had Kanye West come over. And he asked Kanye West to freestyle. And Kanye West freestyled in front of everybody. And all these other guys, like, man, I've been hearing about you. He's talking about all these different, like, at the time, up-and-coming people like Drake, who became like these big, huge superstars. It's a fucking amazing podcast. I've always thought Jamie Foxx is insanely talented. Like, if you see the way he sings, or see the way he acts, like that Red Fox or the Ray Charles movie. I mean, god damn,
He stole it. He
god
fucking rocked it.
damn,
Yeah,
he's good. He's amazing, right? But and on top of that, he's a stand-up comic. But when you hear him talk, you realize, oh, what this guy is a master at life. He's figured out how to live life.
Did you watch his Inside the Actor Studio?
No. I want to hear it, though.
About his grandmother. His grandmother raised him.
Yeah.
So his grandmother used to make him play the piano every day.
Wow.
And his grandmother he took every big movie experience that he had and related it to his grandmother. The football movie, his grandmother fucking raised him right. And the piano one was the story, but the music and how he got Ray Charles.
Yeah.
His grandma used to make him play the piano, just, you know. And then this thing at the store, he changed his name to Jamie Foxx, so they thought he was
Laugh
a girl.
Factory.
Whatever. And they
Yeah,
called
when he
him
signed
up
up at the Laugh
stage.
Factory, he changed his name to Jamie Foxx because the girls got on stage more than guys did because there wasn't that many of them.
You know, so yeah,
Smart.
man. You see these guys and they come and go, and I read them. I can't stand when I see these people that are shams, and all of a sudden they're part of the social thing and they're fucking terrible. But then you get some guy like him that put the work in. I heard that when he was on In Living Color, he still couldn't get an agent. When he was doing that fucking shake and whatever, he couldn't get an agent. Like, nobody would represent him. Shit like that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy to me. But you know what, man? Cream
He
always
would
rises
play-
to the top.
He would play a drag queen, right?
Yeah, he played that, whatever, man.
Was it a drag queen or was it a woman who was playing? Shanae? Is that what it was?
Shanae, something like that.
Was it a drag queen or a woman? What's that?
Nene was Martin Lawrence, but
Oh, okay. You're right. You're right.
LaFonda,
Shanae was
I think.
LaFonda.
LaFonda.
That's right. Was it
LaFonda.
supposed to be a woman?
I don't know. I think so.
Just implied.
Bro, he was
It's
great.
open to interpretation.
Bro, he's great in that movie
Oh,
with Tom Cruise.
He's great in
That
everything.
movie with Tom Cruise, to me,
Isn't he doing a Mike Tyson movie right now?
I don't know. Is he?
Have you ever dressed up as a woman, Joe?
Oh yeah,
Really?
for sure. Yeah, I did it in a public access show on TV in 1988. We were like open micers. Me and this dude Todd Parker, and a couple other guys. It's like we're Larry Raspucci. When we first started out doing stand up, we were all open micers together, and there he is. Wanda, the massage therapist. The lips is hilarious. Jamie Foxx is a bad motherfucker, dude. Anyway, we did this. We found out that you could get like time on cable access shows. They just like let you use cable access, and you could make your own television show. So we put together these horrible sketches, and in one of them, I played a woman. I had a dress on and a wig. I forget what the fucking sketch was, but I had to come in and sweep the guy off his feet and run away with him. It was so stupid. Like, I don't remember what it was, but I wore a dress then.
I fucking hate it.
I have a picture of you, Joey,
I
dressed
fucking
up as a
hate it.
woman.
I fucking always
My girls
hate
have
it.
dressed me up like a girl before.
I've never done it. I'm scared.
Don't be scared. You might make a hot chick. You might look at yourself in the mirror and you go, maybe I should just fucking run with this.
I tell you,
You
man,
can like Eddie Izzard. You don't even have to address it. Like Eddie Izzard, he'd go on stage dressed up like a woman and not say a word.
That might be too hot.
No, I can't. I can't dress up like a woman. It bothers my core.
You're
I'm
poor?
too Spanish. Yeah, it drives me fucking nuts. I never got the joke.
Machismo.
I never got the joke. Like after I see you with the dress on, okay, now I got to stand like this, like a fucking asshole.
That's right.
It's like if you go to a football game with a jersey on, and your team loses, you got to get back on the train with that stupid fucking shirt on. That's a long train ride home, you dumb fuck. I've always been one of those guys. I ain't wearing no jersey, you jack off. Your team loses, there you are on the train like a fucking Momo there.
That's hilarious.
I can't commit. I ain't got that type of fucking commitment. Fuck you. I can't do it. That's why the dress thing, like I've been to shows now, we wanted you to dress up like a no, it's not going to work.
Who was it? Was it Dave Chappelle that was saying that there's a certain thing that happens to black actors, like black comedians, black actors, they get to a certain level of popularity and then they start putting them in movies where they make them wear dresses. And it's so true. Once he said it, I started looking into it. There's Tu Wong Fu, Julie Newmar, right, where Wesley Snipes, shredded, is a chick. He's fucking yoked and shredded. He's a chick, right? There's what other? There's a gang of those movies. The Martin Lawrence movies. Eddie Murphy played his mom, right? He played, what did he play? His grandma?
Yeah, played all of them, I think.
Played all of them, right?
Yeah.
He's played women. He's done women before. And it just goes back through, like, television history. They would take like famous black comedians and they would make them play women. They would play women in movies. Like there's Wesley Snipes.
Oh, look at that.
And what's his face? The dude on the left, and Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, and Patrick Swayze. Powerful Patrick Swayze. He didn't give a fuck.
I caught a movie I forgot all about the other day. By mistake, I caught it. How fucking good is that movie? A movie called Revenge, with Anthony Quinn and the fucking bodyguard. What's his name?
Kevin Costner. Oh, I remember that movie. And that beautiful woman. Who's that woman?
The crazy one.
Oh,
the crazy one that he cheated on.
Yeah.
And then fucking Martin Quinn put a fucking beating on him.
Yeah.
But go to Revenge. The beating that Anthony Quinn puts on, what's his fucking name? That's a good movie. Then
It is a good
Quinn
movie.
gets out of the hospital. What's his name? Gets out of the hospital. He teams up with Leguizamo, and they go. He makes her a hooker. Remember, he cuts her face. He goes, "You want to get fucked? I'm going to send you to a place where you get fucked every day." And he fucking slices her face. Then they throw her to the hooker house, and they just come in, drug her, and fuck her all day long. And then fucking, what's his name, has to come and save her. I forgot all about that fucking movie.
I remember that.
Look at Anthony Quinn, how badass he was at 70. He was still spitting out kids in Mexico at 70. What's her name?
I forget the girl. But now the dude's beating up Kevin Costner.
Stowe. Madeline Stowe.
Oh, yeah.
It was Madeline Stowe.
They beat the shit out of Kevin Costner. Oh. It's a dark movie.
This is a really fucked up movie. And Anthony Quinn, dog, you know, his shit, that motherfucker was a real actor. That dude was a Mexican that played everything. A cowboy, a gangster.
Yeah. Whew. Good movie, though. Anthony Quinn did a lot of good movies.
Bro, Anthony Quinn did 110 across 110th Street. He did something about pool. Didn't he play a pool and somebody? He played somebody. Oh, no. Who was the old guy in The Hustler?
Jackie Gleason?
No, the other guy. The guy that was running the game.
Oh, yeah. God damn it.
Badass motherfucker.
Yeah. George C. Scott.
George C. Scott.
Yeah. George C. Scott was Bert.
George C.
Bert
Scott,
was the
this fucking
loan
guy.
shark.
These guys were savages. You know what else I watched a movie with George C. Scott where his daughter's a runaway and she becomes a stripper and he has to find her.
Yeah, she became
Remember
a
that movie?
porn star, right?
She was a porn star. And I've been watching some fucked up shit lately on the road. On the road, you bump into some good fucking movies.
Hardcore. Remember? That's what it was called. The George C. Scott movie, Hardcore.
That's the
Hot
name of it?
Spell. What is that?
Anthony Quinn playing pool. Movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Never heard of it. He was a pool hustler?
It comes up on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. Oh, just maybe a scene where he plays pool?
Yeah.
Huh. Pool was just a giant pastime back then. You know, at the turn of the century, there's 1,000 pool halls in New York City. In the 19th century, like between 1900, from the 18th century.
Well, yeah. 1,000 fucking pool halls in New York City.
From the 19th to the 20th. When it turned to the 1900s, the beginning of the century, apparently there was 1,000 pool halls. It was so common. Like, everybody played pool. There was no TV, right? There's no, I mean, live music. You can go see live music. There's no records. Did they even have records? I mean, I guess they had phonographs. Maybe a few people had them. But bachelors, especially, like young men, would go and they would hang out at these pool halls. It was like, that was the lifestyle choice for the men who didn't go for the married with kids thing. If you didn't go for the married with, there's like these people that felt like they were on the outside. And they would all get together in these pool halls. And they would just do what men wanted to really do. They wanted to hang out late and drink and gamble and do drugs and play cards. And that's what these places always were for these guys. It's like a refuge from the regular life. Like, you can exist. You might not be as profitable, you might, but at least it'll be fun. So they all just got together. And it was like the bachelor lifestyle of the early 20th century. Isn't that crazy?
I got to ask you something. Are you covering next week's fight or no?
Which one's next? No.
Vegas.
Yeah, the one, the second, Robbie Lawler versus.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Oh, I didn't think, because I asked you were doing a show and you were like, no.
No, I'm not doing a show.
Okay.
Not doing a comedy show. I can't do the Cod Theater that much. It's a giant place. We just sold it out like 2 weeks ago. I gotta take time off.
Okay, no, I didn't. That's why I asked you. I didn't even know. You never even mentioned that.
They want to do it all the time, but I don't think. I know a lot of the people are transient, but a lot of these people are like the same people that keep coming over and over again. Like, Vegas is such a hot spot now for stand-up and for fights, rather. You know, people are coming from everywhere. So I feel like I gotta come up with at least some new material.
No, I
before
didn't know
come
for
back
sure
there
if you
again.
were even going, because when I asked you, you didn't sound too enthusiastic about it. So I'm like, maybe he's not even going to the fight, and I'm not hearing much about it
listen,
online.
If you didn't talk to me about the fight, if you didn't think
Who
I
else
was
is on the
enthusiastic
card?
about
Who
the
else is
fight,
on the card?
I'll tell you right now, it's a good card. But the big fight, of course, is Carlos Condit versus Robbie Lawler. And one of the things that makes that fight so interesting is that Robbie Lawler is not known to take people down. It's like he's taken out so few people in his life. I can't think of a single submission that he's attempted. I mean, I'm sure he has attempted a submission. I just can't recall one. Because all Robbie Lawler's fights is Robbie Lawler trying to knock you into another dimension. That's how the fights go. The fights go, ding, here he comes, good luck, you know. But the difference between Robbie and all the guys that Carlos has had problems with in the past is that those guys kept taking Carlos down. Now, I don't know if Robbie will incorporate that kind of strategy just because he knows it's been effective in the past. GSP had good effect with it. Johnny Hendricks had a good result with it. And the guys who managed to take Carlos down and smother him, those are guys who have some pretty good success. Robbie Lawler has good success just smashing. He's just a fucking awesome striking machine and such a tough guy. His mentality, like the bulldog in him, is 100%. That guy's zero quit. But neither does Condit. But Condit's got a little bit more sneaky ways to win. Like, he's really good at submissions, very good off of his back, very good at capitalizing on moments. And he can kickbox too, and he's real slick. He throws all kinds of crazy shit. Step-in elbows. He does a lot of shit that you don't predict.
Fucking flying knees last time.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. Like,
he's a bad motherfucker.
I mean, I love Ruth. I'm not saying that Carlos Condit's going to win, but I tell you what I like the most about Carlos Condit in his corner. I don't really know who Robbie's trainers are down on ATT, but they have an excellent game plan. When you fight for Winklejohn, whatever, you go in there with such a great, and I didn't see it till the Holly Holm fight. That's when I learned what game plan is to the Holly Holm fight. Then I put together John Jones fights, and I basically thought the most about him against Diaz, how he fought Diaz. They always have a great game plan, Winklejohn, Smith, and it's how good you stick to it. And against Diaz, this motherfucker stuck to it. That's why he snuck out that victory. You know, if he sticks to the game plan, whatever, they always have a great game plan. Yeah. And they review it and review it and review it and review it and review it. That's why Holly Holm did what she did. Even when Ronda went for shit on her that she would usually get, they knew her instincts. They knew what, I forget what that word is. They knew what she was going to do, and they worked it and drilled it and drilled it. She kept her hips low, all those little things I really don't know. I just saw the guy from George St. Pierre's camp break down the video, and I thought about it.
Faraz Zahabi.
And Faraz Zahabi, and I go, you know why she did that? Because they went over it, and they had a game plan, and they knew what her tendency was going to be, and they worked on the anti-tendency. And I thought back to his fight, and I thought back to like maybe 3 of fucking John Jones fights, and I said that's what I like about that camp. I've always liked that they really, and that's why I'm not saying I like them. But I'm saying in this particular fight, I'm just saying
it's a very competitive
fight. It's a great fight. No.
It's a very competitive fight. I would think the real questions are, is Robbie going to follow that game plan, or is he going to try to take Carlos down? If he decides to try to take Carlos down just to fuck with him, just to mix it up, it could be very interesting. If they both just stand up, it's going to be chaos. It'll be a crazy war.
Ooh, our last give me chick.
Yeah,
Jesus
both guys,
fucking Christ.
Both guys have crazy power, but I wonder who's going to try to do something sneaky. Because Robbie's like not a sneaky fighter. He's super skillful, very tough, just aggressive, but you know what's coming. Whereas guys will mix things up and do things different and do like George St. Pierre is a perfect example. He always had like a game plan. He was always real sneaky at mixing things up. It was one of the most effective aspects of his game is you didn't know if he was going to take you down or stand with you. So you're always tense and always worried about what's coming. And then he would shoot and you'd be on your back and you'd be eating elbow sandwiches. So Robbie's not like that. Robbie's like a straightforward, come towards you, smart with his movement and his angles, very hard to take down, but determined to stand and smash you. So Carlos won't have to worry.
And he fucking hits hard, dog.
He fucking hits real hard.
He fucking hits like a truck, dog. So that's the other.
Yeah, that's a big part. Well, he's got so much confidence in his power. You know, if you watch that fight with Melvin Manhoef, he's getting his ass kicked, okay? Melvin Manhoef is kicking the shit out of his legs. And Robbie Lawler uncorks with a fucking bomb. One punch, one haymaker on the jaw, and Melvin's whole body just stiffens up like he got tasered. Just he falls to the ground, and Robbie smashes him again when he's down, and it's just one of the most brutal one-shot knockout power punches in all of MMA. And he's always trying to do that. Every punch he's trying to do that. He's just trying to just knock you in another dimension. And he knows he can do it. He's just got to hit you just right. And Condit can do it too, man. Condit knocks dudes dead. You watch that the Dan Hardy fight when he caught Dan with that nasty left hook? Or the stun gun fight, that flying knee to the face?
Yeah.
Or the Thiago Alves fight, he smashed him with that step-in elbow? He's real tricky. He's got a bunch of different ways to win. He's tall, he's long, and he's real good off of his back. Real sneaky off of his back. Real good at attacking when he goes to the ground. He's caught guys in arm bars and triangles. He's no joke, man. He's no joke. It's an interesting fight. It's real interesting if Robbie decides to just only stand with him, because if Carlo doesn't have to worry about the takedown as much, you get to see a lot more looseness to his striking game. It's going to be a nutty fight, man.
I want to ask you something else. Are you going to go see this movie, Concussion?
Fuck yeah.
You really want to see it? I think I'm going to see it, too. I'm going to watch it.
You know where the big fight on that card is? Here's a fight that no one's talking about. Lorenz Larkin versus Albert Tumanov. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? These guys are killers. This is probably like one of the most underrated fights in the 170-pound division right now. This is a fight that everybody should be talking about. And if these guys had like more like on-air fights, like especially Larkin at 170, and Tumanov just fought Arbor Alan Joban and just starched him. He is nasty. His fucking striking is so fluid and loose. His boxing, his hands, and Larkin is a beast too. That's a sick fight. It's a really good fight. That's a fight that people should be talking about. Like a lot of people should be talking about this right now. And for whatever reason, it's just flown totally under the radar. Like I almost forgot it was even on the card.
I gotta be honest with you, this card has flown under the radar.
It's a good card.
It's a great card, but nobody's really. I think the holidays, they're confused. I don't know what it is. Nobody's really saying, well, this is the.
Here's another good fight. Brandao and Ortega. Ortega is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's coming off a suspension for the PED. He got the kuhut.
For what?
The Jiu-Jitsu juice.
Oh.
He had a little bit of the steroids in the system.
Now, this
And
McDonald.
they gave him a little suspension.
This McDonald kind of rara. Is this Roy McDonald? No,
Michael McDonald. Oh, Michael
okay.
McDonald returns. That's exciting. He's been off for a long time. That kid's been off for more than a year, I believe. He's fucking good. That kid's good. He's got nasty power in his hands, too, and he looks like a small, slightly built guy, but my God, he hits hard. But that Diego Brandao and Brian Ortega fight, that's a good fight. That should be a real good fight. I don't know why Ortega was doing anything. I mean, he might have had an injury he's trying to recover from. So a lot of these guys, they get caught with steroids, and what it is well, a lot of these guys are just doing steroids, but some of these guys, they get injured, and they're trying to get back in there, so they take a chance. They just, I hope I don't get tested. I'm going to try this for 6 weeks. It'll be out of my system in 6 weeks, but it'll ramp up my recovery by 30% or more, and so they take the chance. I'm not giving him any excuses. I don't know if that was the case with him, but I just want to say with some people, that is definitely the case. Steroids are real tricky, man, because for the longest time they just been able to use them whenever anything was injured. You know, either you used it all the time, like some guys certainly did, or you used it when you had injuries, which is like a very reasonable approach. But, you know, we're just fine. You know, Gleison Tebow just failed 2 tests.
Damn.
Yeah, one for, I don't know what it was, but one was for EPO. And if you look at Gleison Tebow, that guy might have the second best body in the UFC next to Yoel Romero. Like, Gleison Tebow is ridiculously shredded, you know? It's just, there's a culture of people using banned substances. They've been doing it for a long time, I think. These guys the UFC hired, they're not fucking around.
Really?
They're not fucking around. They're going to wake you up at 6:30 in the morning. Pee in the cup, Joey Diaz. Like, what? Pee now? I can't. Sure you can. We'll wait. They don't leave your side. They stay with you. They watch you pee. They collect your shit. They do it a couple times. They do it randomly. They show up whenever they want. If they have suspicions, like if Nowitzki suspects something's wrong, he thinks you're cheating, they'll just be up your ass with a microscope.
Are they testing you in competition mode or off season? Like,
They're doing everything. They're doing
not
everything.
fighting till October.
Doesn't matter.
Right now,
they just
I'm
might show up.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Well, that's what happened with Vanderlei. Vanderlei did not have a fight scheduled, and they just showed up to test him, and he was like, "What?" And he just ran out the
Vanderlei
door.
has become Trump. Vanderlei has become Donald Trump of Brazil. He just says, "Who's he want to smack in the face yesterday?"
Connor.
Yeah,
Because
yesterday.
Connor said he would whoop Jesus' ass. Conor McGregor's so crazy.
Every fucking month he says
I feel
one thing.
terrible for Vanderlei. I'm very conflicted about this. I feel terrible for Vanderlei because I was a Vanderlei Silva fan my whole life. I think if I had to pick one fighter that I'm like my most favorite guy to watch fight, it might be Vanderlei. It's real close. In his Pride days, he was just a fucking awesome spectacle. He was amazing. And when they banned him for life, I think that broke his heart. And when the UFC couldn't do anything about it because it's the Nevada State Athletic Commission, he's got to fight it in court, so he feels abandoned. I don't know what the position is. I mean, everybody's position that I know as far as like trainers, commentators, fighters, everyone across the board was like, that's outrageous. Like, the guy didn't even fail. He didn't even fail a drug test. You're going to ban him for life? That's so crazy. And by all accounts, Vanderlei's like one of the nicest guys ever. Like, every time I met him, he's like super friendly. Like, I don't know if the guy was doing something. What I do know is there's a penalty if you got caught. That penalty at the time was only like 9 months. I'm like, how are you going to take a guy that if he did get caught, you get a 9-month penalty, and you're saying forever? You can't ever make money? Like, that's cruel. That's a cruel way of conducting business. Like, you don't care about this guy. This guy's a legend. This sport, like, the reason why people come and pay all that money and go to see fights and use their credit cards and buy beer and the whole revenue of the town, it's because of the product. And that product is fighting. And out of those fighters, Vanderlei was one of the most loved and one of the most, like, respected and revered fighters. So people would come to see him. Like, his very presence would generate income. And for them to just not even take into account that this guy was a legend and just never failed before, ever. Never failed a single drug test. And then all of a sudden, they cut his career out from under him. He lost his mind, I think.
He made them nervous. He made people nervous. You know, he was just making people nervous, I think. And he was saying
I don't know.
shit. And
He didn't do that until after he got banned. He was a company man.
no, but wasn't he?
Vanderlei was a company man. He always
I'd fight anybody,
supported
anytime, anywhere. I know that, but
the
then
UFC
didn't
and-
something happen during the taping of that show? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Didn't he do something? He coached somebody. Yeah, that's how it all. During that, he was a little.
I don't know
butts.
what happened.
I don't know.
Coaching somebody?
Didn't he do like a Ultimate Fighter?
I think so.
Where he coached somebody.
Yeah.
And during that, he was having moments. I'm
Spent
like you.
so
I'm a
many
fan. I met
seasons.
him. I think he's fucking great. You know, I watched all the old footage. The fights he was involved in were fucking great. But I don't, now, when I read that yesterday, I'm like, Dana White's sitting there going, this guy says something crazy every month. You know?
Yeah.
If I was Dana White, I'd sleep with one eye open, too. Because Vanderlei Silva, you never know what that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You never know.
No, you
ever
never
watched
know.
him Pink Panther? He told Kato to attack him no matter what.
Yeah.
All right. He used to tell Kato, I want you to attack me. No matter what, attack me. And he would come home and look around Kato, and he would go into every room, And then he would cato it for 15 minutes and shit. And then he'd go, huh. And then he'd have a bag of groceries. He'd put the groceries down. He'd open up the refrigerator, and Kato come out of the refrigerator, and grab him and shit. Same thing with Vanderlei Silva. Like, they get like there was a report on The Wire. Vanderlei Silva's in Las Vegas, and nobody could find it. They're looking for Vanderlei Silva, and all of a sudden they're like waiting there. Dana's got his bodyguard, another guy, everybody's got bodyguards, and all of a sudden right during the fight, you see a fucking rope come down with Anderson.
Vanderlei.
With Vanderlei. I told you I'd kill you. You know, I could... That's the shit. Like, he makes people nervous, and he's real. No, he starts swinging, somebody's dying.
He was with Chael Sonnen. That's what it was.
Listen, with
the
all
Chael
the anger,
Sonnen, they had a real problem with that.
Oh yeah, they had a real problem with that. And,
well, a lot of Brazilians got upset with him too.
With all the
bizarre heel turn on Tough offers cautionary tale to veteran fighters. Wow, interesting.
He got, and I love him. He's just
real.
Chael
Sonnen just wound him up to the point where he was like ready to fight all the time.
All the time.
Brazilians got upset with him. You know, they're like, you're not representing us right. Like, you're making us look like we're just thugs ready to fight for no reason. But, like, for Vanderlei, he's like, this guy's making it personal. He's making it real. I want to fucking kill him. I want to kick his ass right now. Fuck this. You know, Vanderlei, like, wanted to, like, stand his ground. And the whole thing was crazy. But Chael Sonnen was hilarious in that. Don't touch me. Don't touch. No, don't get close. Like, keeps his hand up to his head, and then eventually just decides to take him down.
Fucking happens.
We're out of time, Joey Diaz. God damn it.
It's Christmas Eve, man.
We
have
is.
to spend it
Christmas
together.
Eve. Merry Christmas,
Who's
my brother.
us? This is like
nobody.
Nobody.
Wilshire Theater is Wiltern.
Is it sold out?
Sold out. Yeah,
is
it's
it
sold out.
official?
Yeah, it's been sold out for a while. There's like a single or a couple single tickets left, but that's next week, friends. Very excited. Ooh, boy.
Thursday night.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
A week from today.
Yeah, we're excited too. So, Brian, you got some shit going on too, right?
Yeah, this Saturday, day after Christmas, me and Tony Hinchcliffe and Ashley Barnhill will be in Austin at the Spider House Ballroom, and then followed by Dallas the following day at Hyenas Comedy Club. We're doing Kill Tony, followed by a comedy show in both cities.
You using like local folks for Kill Tony?
Yeah.
Cool.
They sign up a half hour before the show. You can go to deathsquad.tv and get the tickets. Click on tour dates.
Nice. Joe Diaz, what's going on? Anything? Anything to tell these people?
I'm doing the New Year's show with you, and I'm taking a week off like you do just to revitalize myself.
Revitalize. Get that life in order.
And I start the Savage Dad Tour January 28th in motherfucking Charlotte, North Carolina.
And what is the website? Website for tickets?
JoeyDiaz.net. Oh, for Charlotte, I have
for anything.
Go JoeyDiaz.net. Charlotte.
JoeyDiaz.net. All right, you fucks. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Stay whatever color you are, please.